this represents me. It's like, yeah, because it's not supposed to. Obviously, you're not into this stuff, and that's okay. But again, he has to make it about me. Yeah, much like anybody associated with the planning and the production of this event, all of the sponsors of this event, matter of fact, anybody that's even remotely associated with this event, much like all of them, you are
holy
so
crap,
slow,
that's
I
loud.
could time you with them.
Oh,
Fucking talent.
holy
So
crap,
slow,
that's
not
loud.
time you with them. Fucking
Oh,
talent.
holy
So
crap,
slow,
that's
not
loud.
time you with them. Fucking
Oh,
talent.
holy crap, that's loud.
About this is cool. Well, you just don't like it because you're liberal, and liberal men aren't masculine.
Liberal men aren't masculine. This has got that voice now.
Listen here, shitbag. I live every day after boxing and jiu-jitsu. Shitbag. I live every day after boxing and jiu-jitsu. Shitbag. I live every day after boxing and jiu-jitsu.
I don't understand what's going on. Oh man, what the fuck going on with my fucking sound? Hang on. What the fuck going on with my fucking sound? Hang on. What the fuck going on with my fucking sound? Hang on. What the fuck going on with my fucking sound? Hang on. Is it still? Hang on. Is it still? Hang on. Is it still? Hang on. Is it still?
So guys, after watching everyone in America come together to support Freddie, everybody knows Freddie now, and all of the come together to support Freddie, everybody knows Freddie now, and all of the come together to support Freddie, everybody knows Freddie now, and all of the come together. The other World Cup fans that are visiting the United States and falling in love with Taco Bell and Waffle House and Buc-ee's and the beautiful coast of Alabama that they did not know existed. Like, I went into this weekend hyped.
Hyped to be an American living in this amazing country. Hyped about all of the sporting events. Like, we had the Knicks in 5, as they say. They won the NBA Finals for the first time in 53 years. I know these are not real Knicks fans, but there were people who destroyed all of New York City. We can talk about that another time, but there were lots of celebrations. We also had America really putting itself on the map with football, as they call it, beating Paraguay. And then, of course, we had America's UFC
themed 250th birthday celebration to look forward to. Like, this was a really
Alright,
freaking
is the
great
echo
weekend
gone?
to be a sports fan in America. It was just a great weekend to be an American in general.
Alright,
Unless,
sorry
of
about
course,
that.
you have your head stuck so far up
Something
your
freaking
ass
weird going
you
on.
cannot even enjoy yourself. And more specifically, I am talking about Jane Fonda, Miss Rachel, and her totally off-key activist choir who decided to host counter-programming this weekend with their event, Rise Up and Speak Out, a concert for the First Amendment.
Some of these women, they're so stupid.
Really ironic that it's for the First Amendment. We know all of these people really, really care about the First Amendment. I don't think they really remembered that that was an amendment back in 2020. But anyway, you guys are going to want to see this. Now, before we dive into this story, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for always subscribing and commenting and liking the videos. If you want to stay up to date on every single thing that we upload, make sure to ring that notification bell. All right, so all of this is just so perfectly ironic to me because for years and years and years, the left was making fun of the political right for building its alternative economy, its alternative marketplace, I should say. Children's books that do not talk about gay sex, Christian TV shows, like every single Daily Wire business that they tried to start, and of course TPUSA's Kid Rock halftime show. Like, they have been laughing at us for years and years and years. But now, since they're trying to become largely geriatric, I would say, and Trump obviously won the culture and unified a lot of people in 2024, suddenly, randomly out of nowhere, they've decided that maybe, possibly, counter-programming programming is a winning strategy. Okay, well, maybe not winning, but it's a strategy that they have decided to try.
It ain't bragging if you done
I
it.
know the people on the
Here's
right
your
have
pet.
really gone back and forth, and there hasn't been any kind of consensus on whether
You
this
want vehicles
alternative
or
economy
parts?
was ever really successful, whether it was long-lasting or cool. Like, plenty of people thought that the Kid Rock halftime show was, like, weird or cringe or meh, but I think that we should all agree, like, we can come together and join hands and agree that this, what happened this past weekend, was just bad. Like, it is so bad that it's kind of good. I went to my pantry hoping to find popcorn to bring to do this episode so that I could
You
really
can't
enjoy it
beat
with you
that
guys
with
when
a
we were out.
stick. I bet your
So I'll
nose
make
is
sure
so
I have
high in
that
the
for
air
next
you
time
could
for
drown in a
something
rainstorm.
so cringe. Anyway,
I'd be
so this
proud too.
performance, again,
Good
Rise
job.
Up, Sing Out, was scheduled to be the alternative to Trump's UFC fight night on the White House lawn.
I
So,
think I've
just
got
so
it.
we
Don't
all
squat
on
on
the
your
same page,
spurs.
I want you to
You'll
know
do well.
This is what that Trump UFC event ended up looking like. Like, this is possibly one of the most epic photographs I have ever seen. There's the White House in the background. You have the most insane flyover ever. Like, this is the kind of flyover that would make the European World Cup fans literally shit their pants because it's so insane. You have the octagon right in the center, the American flag. It's perfectly in twilight. The stormy clouds are in the background. I mean, it's just pretty freaking epic. And there were so many insane moments and insane photographs that are definitely going into history books. There were huge crowds. There were millions of viewers. And even though the libs were hiring their Etsy witches to curse the event and get it rained out, God said, hell no to the witches. And the incoming storm that people were praying would help destroy the event and ruin Trump's birthday and ruin America's 250th birthday, that incoming storm approached Washington, D.C. It perfectly split, and it avoided the city, which and the admin and everybody, Americans, it's not Trump, it's America. It gave Americans yet another photograph. I mean, you have the sunset, you have the rainbow, you have light coming out of the rainbow. I mean, happy Pride, ladies and gentlemen. That should be a metaphor. The crowd in the background, I mean, come on, like, it was just remarkable. So anyway, all of that to say, that is the sheer magnitude of this event. Like, objectively, God was involved in this event. But meanwhile, down the road, something even more prolific was happening. Now, before Rise Up, Sing Out began, they first held a protest. They held a protest to show Trump and Dana White who was boss and who they were really putting in cages. Take a look at this. I mean, God, it's all old people. It's such a joke, and it's one of my favorite things to laugh about, but it's not a joke because that's the reality. They are all geriatric. Like, somebody, get your grandparents, teach them mahjong, anything, bridge, something. They need a hobby other than this, is all I'm saying. But my point of bringing all of this up, obviously, and comparing it to those photographs from Fight Night, like, I mean, God, splitting the storm, rainbows and lightnings, geriatric people, holding DIY cages. Which one is cooler? I mean, it is just a toss-up. I'm gonna have to stew on that one and get back to you. Anyway, from there, after they finished marching through the streets to really stick it to Fight Night, the show began. And let me tell you, my friends, there was a lot of singing.
Holy shit, this is terrible.
Not this time, not this time. He's like pulling out the musical instruments from a baby music class. It's not even just that they're performing, it's geriatric liberal karaoke. I mean, like, it's like some performing musical.
This time, no one not this time, no one.
Dude, this black guy in the front is.
Behind this time. How do we get there? Together or
Oh my god.
Not this time.
Oh, how embarrassing.
Musical instruments from a baby music carry it, and then the neighbor lead the shock activist choir with Titan.
You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose.
Oh my god.
Hey, you fascists, let me put you straight. When you come for the rest of us, we'll fight you at the gate, and you will lose. You fascists bound to lose.
You fascist babaloos, we're gonna fight.
And insisting time and time again, generation after generation, that people have the right to exist.
Oh my god, they are so lame. That is like embarrassing.
So Gavin Newsom is panicking right now because the DOJ is investigating him and his wife Jennifer. Now because Jennifer Newsom has funneled nearly $4 million to herself from nonprofit funded by Gavin Newsom's donors. But yet Gavin Newsom is going around saying that Donald Trump is coming after him just because he's running for president. Who's going to vote for Gavin Newsom? The man can't even run California. He can run the United States of America, but he can't even run California. Just like Mayor Bass, she don't know what she's doing. So now he want to have this little pity party, and now even CNN. Now, if you didn't see my video from yesterday when we destroyed Gavin Newsom, make sure you go check that out. But now, these clips right here is even more people, especially even Democrats, even coming from CNN. They even coming out saying, no, no, no. Gavin, we ain't on your side right here. Donald Trump didn't start this. This started under the Biden administration. This started with a whistleblower who reported what y'all was doing. So y'all can hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to the one that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you. Let's go ahead and dive straight into this. I want to show y'all exactly what's going on right now. Now,
It's just the sky. I thought it was a storm.
solicited $340 million in beneficial payments from special interests filing revealed. Now, we'll get to this article in a little bit. I want to show y'all the headline right now. And another reason he's panicking is that well, the truth outweighs for Gavin Newsom and his wife are sweating bullets. Dinah Williamson, former chief of staff to Gavin Newsom, took a plea deal and is turning state's evidence against Newsom and others. That's why he's so nervous. See, that's what it is. Then he just go around. Right, the DOJ is investigating Gavin Newsom and his wife Jennifer Newsom. Jennifer Newsom has funneled nearly $4 million to herself from a nonprofit funded by Gavin Newsom's donors. Jennifer Newsom's nonprofit, the Representation Project, is funded in large by Gavin Newsom's political donors. Jennifer Newsom has taken $1.8 million in salaries. She said $2.1 million more to her production company, Girls Club Entertainment, funneled from the nonprofit. Textbook money laundering. And this right here is the reason why this guy is panicking. You can get online all you want to be quiet, try to blame Donald Trump when President Trump didn't even start this. And Gavin Newsom knows he decided, okay, let me go ahead and just say Donald Trump is starting this. So just to get y'all up to speed and stuff like that, I want y'all to listen to what Gavin Newsom has said. This is what he's talking about that, Donald Trump sent the DOJ to the house, DOJ knocked on his door, knocked on his family door, knocked on his friend's door. This is what he's crying about now.
Julianne789 hey.
Hey, what's up?
Julianne789 how is it going?
It's actually going very well. What? Oh, I ran out of gas. I was doing all right until I ran out of gas.
Julianne789 all good.
There it is.
Presidential politics are about two things. It's about money and voting. He's working on this right now. He wants to get out and try to make himself be a victim. We see politics.
Julianne789 I saw the buddy and you on your server.
I took that picture yesterday.
Julianne789 on IC.
Show y'all this because even this guy right here spoke on it from Salem. So let's check this out.
They can't intimidate me or go after the mother of our children. I've learned this campaign has reached my own home. Again, me is coming after my wife, Jen.
Julianne789 BTW I'll send it to you by today to tomorrow.
Alright, that would be fine.
Other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in. If they can't intimidate me, they'll go after the mother of our children.
So she is defending women, girls who think they're boys, and boys who want to be girls attracted. Just remember that Newsom's wife, her thing was she made transgender documentaries that were funded with government grants and then was put into the government schools. That's her big thing. So she's a nutty person, and we're going to hear a lot about her. But here's the biggest lie in all of this. There's a number of lies. The biggest lies in all of this. This investigation started under Joe Biden, and there was a consideration that Gavin Newsom would have replaced Biden on the ticket, leapfrogging the brilliant black woman that is Kamala Harris to the top of the Democratic ticket that was being discussed. Joe Biden's own Department of Justice was investigating the Newsom ticket.
So Joe Biden's own Department of Justice the Newsom family, but now he's trying to say that Donald Trump is doing it. Because now that he's under investigation by DOJ, name will say, he's trying to make it like Donald Trump started this from the get-go when this started under the Biden administration. That's where he's not telling the truth about. And like I said, that's why he's a liar. So he showed up today and said California Governor Gavin Newsom rages and tries to play the victim over the DOJ's investigation into his wife Jennifer finances. A probe that was started under the Biden administration. This is stuff that happens this is what he was talking about. This is stuff that happens in the country. So what did you call it then when y'all was going after Donald Trump? When they was going after President Trump, what did they call it then?
We have people that frankly are unworthy of their positions. And there we saw on stage people that are worthy of what our founding fathers lived without. I'd like for you to be here today, Madam Lady.
So joyful, the singing, the dancing, the incredible speeches, they're just incredible role models, and their values are American values, and we need to revive those and provide hope to everybody.
We heard from the governor, but we haven't heard from you yet about this investigation. What do you want to say?
I'm just so grateful for this inspiration and leadership. We need more of this.
You don't even want to talk about it.
That's all I'll say. Happens in other countries. Who wants to go after me, go after me. Nice to see both of you. Madam First Lady, it's great to see you. Thank you, Governor. Thanks.
If he want to go after me, go after me. This is freaking insane how he just painted the whole thing on President Trump. So let's check out this right here.
Well, there are just always a lot of questions around Newsom and their finances have been for years. And so this is a man who's always been running for president. This is worth looking at, what their finances are, what the shape of them are. And so when I had a look at Jennifer Newsom's charity, I found that she was paying herself since 2012 $3.7 million.
Wow.
And this is a lot of money when you look at the amount that the charity brings in. It's sort of 1 to 1.7 million a year. And she's paying up to a third of that to herself and her own company, $300,000 a year. Now that is, I did a data analysis looking at what charities that size usually pay their executives, and she was in the top 5% of all charities in the nation for pay.
So
DOJ, of course, doesn't comment on the specifics of this. We've really only heard from Gavin Newsom claiming this investigation is targeting them, even though, as we mentioned, it started in 2022 in his orbit.
Yep.
Do you think that the charity is the reason DOJ might be investigating her?
There's a whole bunch of reasons potentially.
Shit, I might as well go fill them
So
up.
the charity could be one of them. Now, it is legal for a charity to pay whatever they want to their executives. But
Oh, better go eat another honey real quick.
who are the donors to the charity that are financing that pay? What kind of relationship do they have with the California?
You know what? I'm going to use one of these.
There's also, if you look at his income, he released at least, partly to journalists in closed-door viewing sessions his tax returns. And if you look at that, his income, it's about 1.2 to 1.4 million a year. And it just doesn't add up for all of his expenses. He's got massive mortgages, $625,000 in mortgage payments. He's got at least $1 million in living expenses. And the two just don't add up. I would be interested in that if I were an IRS investigator. One other thing to look at here is the way that his property transactions are structured lead to a lot of questions. When he bought his $3.7 million Sacramento estate, it was done through an LLC, but that LLC doesn't seem to have appeared on his tax returns. There's no question of why he would do it that way, and he hasn't answered those satisfactorily. So if I'm IRS, I'm looking at that too, thinking maybe there's an issue here. We've yet to see what the actual details are.
We know it's something there. That's the reason why he's panicking, because if you've seen like that video of him trying to blame President Trump, and we all know it started under the Biden administration, the man look like he's about to cry. He like, well, let me go and get in front of it. Let me just say they coming after me, and they coming after my wife, and all of that. It's like, bro, stop that. You know this been started back in 2022. Like, he knows that. But yet, he's still trying to run with it, and we ain't going to let him do that at all. It's not happening.
You have a guy like Gavin wouldn't do very well, I don't think, with it. He signed a thing yesterday. Somebody told me, I haven't, it's not confirmed, but he signed a document yesterday that said you're not allowed to ask a voter for ID, identification, and if you do, it's like a crime. Why would anybody do that? In other words, this was signed yesterday or the day before by Gavin Newsom, a failed governor, and it said, if you ask anybody whether or not anything having to do with their identification, now for everything else you're allowed to have a card, but for voting, which is our most important element, it's considered virtually a crime, so you're not allowed to ask for identification. Now, there's only one reason that's done. That's because they want to cheat on elections. When you have something like that where there will be no asking, it's not a question of having voter ID, it's a question of not even allowed to ask. And if you ask, it's a crime. That's only because of the fact that they want to cheat on elections. And we can be nice and we can be politically incorrect, but the only thing they're going to do there is cheat on elections. And we just can't let this happen.
Newsom also failed to mention a key detail, that the Biden...
Yeah, because if you see right in here, it said when the man overseeing California's budget made billions of taxpayer dollars disappear and can't even reconcile his own household finances, what does that tell us about where the state's money is actually going? Is Gavin panicking because President Trump's DOJ is going to learn the money is going into his wife's charity is actually stolen taxpayer dollars? Oh, boy.
Newsom also failed to mention a key detail, that the Biden DOJ began investigating people in his orbit as early as 2022, 4 years ago, including his former chief of staff, who ultimately pled guilty to fraud and other charges in May. Back in March, the Daily Mail ran a story claiming that Governor Newsom's wife and her firm pocketed more than $3 million from a gender stereotype charity.
When I had a look at Jennifer Newsom's charity, I found that she was paying herself since 2012 $3.7 million.
Think about that. Paying yourself $3.7 million. And you see the reason why Gavin Newsom is sitting up here panicking and crying because he know he's a liar. We've been seeing all the California, the fraud that's going on in California. We've seen what they did.
Come on. Got 21 seconds.
Spencer Pratt right here destroying him as well. So I want y'all to listen what Spencer Pratt had to say about this. Here's a Spencer Pratt said, well, I warned y'all last summer that Gavin Newsom and his wife were on the
Damn it.
take. We blew the
I
whistle
didn't
on
eat
how the
breakfast
first
because I wasn't
partner
hungry before the
producer
stream. Now I'm
was
hungry.
getting fire aid money diverted into her dubious nonprofit, taken from donations that people were told was meant for the fire victims. And after it was uncovered, what did they do? They deleted her NPO on the donor of the recipients on the Fire Aid website and lied about it ever even happening. And this is stuff that Spencer Pratt,
I feel like
is
I'm
going to
just going to make it
expose
all
as well.
red,
But I
see.
want y'all to check out when Spencer Pratt says it, because this is very
There we go.
important. And a lot of these videos going back to hunt Gavin Newsom and his wife, because they thought they was going to get away with it.
Well, all last summer I warned Gavin Newsom and his wife were on the take. We blew the whistle on how the first partner, Jennifer Newsom, was getting fire aid money diverted into her dubious nonprofit, taking from donations that people were told was meant for fire victims. When we broke that story, what did they do? Well, they just deleted her NPO from the list of donor recipients on the Fire Aid website and lied about it ever happening. Well, now we are finding out that Gavin's wife has personally netted over $4 million through this nebulous organization, Cal Volunteers, a weird NPO that Gavin simply made up for her within the office of the first partner, but nobody can fully explain what they actually do. Well, now, it's a pretty California thing for rich dudes to make up fake businesses that burn money so their wives can stay busy and keep distracted from their affairs. But normally, it's like a boutique fashion store. The husband doesn't mind losing $20K a month. It's a write-off. But using taxpayer money on shady government initiatives and actually profiting to the tune of $4 million, man, Gavin is an innovator. I swear this state is being run by the mob. Everyone in government is milking taxpayers through these shady NGOs, and nowhere is it more pervasive than Karen Basura's LA, where the homeless organizations rake in cash, but the problem continues to fester. Ever wonder why we pour billions of our taxpayer dollars into homelessness, and yet you only see more filth and drug addicts on the streets? It's because it's all a scam. They're stealing your money. When I'm mayor, this mafia racket stops. We need to excise this corruption like a cancer before it kills our city. They treat us like their personal piggy bank so they can get rich while our city just rots. We have the 5th wealthiest city in the galaxy. We should look like Dubai or Monaco. You should be able to eat off the damn streets. They should be so clean. We are being weighed down by corrupt politicians. Go to mayorpratt.com and donate. Support my campaign for mayor. If you're
And salute to Spencer Pratt, man, because like I said, he been saying stuff like this for the longest. So another thing that I wanted to bring y'all is that how Ben Johnson pretty much exposing Governor Newsom, how he's trying to act like somebody's coming out. He knows that right there is a lie. The woman is just a thief. She's stealing taxpayers' dollars. And even you're going to get Ben Johnson, they're pretty much going to break it down. Gavin Newsom don't care about people, wife. He don't care about families. He ain't nothing but a liar. Let's check this out.
Water. I just want to say one other thing to Gavin, which is that he's sitting here bitching and crying about somebody going after my wife. You're going after my wife. How dare you? I'm going to be the vanguard and protector of women and honorable wives. But the moment that I went to California to go investigate Gavin Newsom's mass fraud, and we did prove mass fraud and warned everyone they were going to use the homeless crisis to rig elections, they did exactly that. Gavin Newsom attacked me and my wife with lies. And so I'm not buying this at all. Gavin Newsom immediately attacked Nick Shirley and called him a child predator. Could get Nick killed. There's a man who was just pled guilty in federal court, a California man, for trying to kill my family. Sent me threatening letters, threatening to murder us. He just pled guilty. This man was effectively parroting the same attacks that Gavin Newsom used on me. And so Gavin Newsom's never reached out. He's never apologized for any of this. Gavin Newsom doesn't give a damn about the threat at all. Gavin Newsom's wife, by the way, is the one victim blamed when Gavin Newsom was banging his married secretary. Was married to his chief of staff at the time. So Gavin Newsom did all these things. He admitted all these things. Sybil Newsom don't even look into what she did with Harvey Weinstein. Man, reading the court documents there the other night. No, these are not honorable or good people. They're trying to LARP as that. They should be called out. It's despicable. They deserve everything they're getting right now. Yeah, I just want to say one other thing. Gavin
There's like no roads that run south
because he's considering
through
the
this
vice
town.
president. It's like, man, oh man, how do you feel like a lot of these fucking talking shows, especially on CNN, everybody's disagreeing with them, even though they
I
may
should
come
have
from a
repaired my
place
bike
filled
while
with,
I was there.
saying, hey, I mean, we don't like Donald Trump, but no, this started under the Biden administration.
President Trump and Gavin Newsom are back in the ring, and this time the stakes are legal. A new battle is unfolding over reports of a federal investigation targeting the California governor and his wife, while Newsom scrambles
Damn
to
it.
frame the probe as a weaponized political attack. It raises massive questions about what exactly the Justice Department is looking into. Joining me now, senior contributor at The Federalist and editor-at-large at Real Clear Investigations, Ben Weingarten, and former U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, Jay Cowan. Gentlemen, thank you for joining the Pulse this evening. So, what do you think, Ben? Is this a legitimate investigation or a politically motivated probe, as Newsom claims?
Well, first of all, Newsom has the advantage of being a potential target here, so he can try and craft a narrative. He'll scream weaponization. He'll scream fishing expedition. And the DOJ, of course, is not going to comment on an ongoing investigation. So he's working to set the narrative here. If he says there's no there, let's see it. But there's a lot of smoke around the nonprofits with which his wife has been associated, the money they've taken in, what the sources of those funds are. And let's not forget that just last year, his former chief of staff was prosecuted. So we'll see if there's fire to the smoke. But certainly, if he's being scrutinized heavily, I don't think there wouldn't be some evidence necessary to try and dive deep here. And there have been non-Republicans, by the way, who have looked into, or non-Republican president-led Justice Department that have looked into those around Newsom, including under the Biden administration.
Y'all see exactly what I'm talking about right here. So now I want y'all to check out CNN even talking about this.
Well, based on what we know right now, Caitlin, I think there's serious reason to doubt the narrative that's being offered by Gavin Newsom, which is that he is being specifically targeted by Donald Trump for political retribution. Now, to be sure, it is a fact that this administration has done that time and again, from Elizabeth James to Comey to Jerome Powell to Mark Kelly on down the line. But based on the facts we know here, we don't know everything, it does not appear that that's what's happening here. First of all, very importantly, as Paula said, the reporting is that this investigation did not initiate from Donald Trump or even from prosecutors in D.C., so not from Pam Bondi when she was AG, not from Todd Blanche. Rather, it arose organically from the U.S. Attorney's Office out in California, based on a whistleblower complaint, reportedly, which is a normal way that cases start. Second of all, people around Gavin Newsom, as Paula just reported, then sure, you would expect people to be feds to be knocking on doors and asking questions of people around Gavin Newsom. So I think the narrative that he offered up today is self-serving and a bit overly simplistic given the actual facts as we know.
Well, Paula, you mentioned these other investigations. His former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, was indicted last November on federal charges alleging involvement in schemes to steal campaign money from her former boss, Tommy Becerra, who is now running to replace Gavin Newsom as governor. Do we know how, if at all, that case is playing a role in all of this?
Okay, then anytime you have anyone who's been that close, who knows that much about you, who has an incentive to provide the feds with information, you need to be nervous. So that's certainly something to consider here, but it's unclear that she has provided any information that's been material so far in this investigation. That's also why it's complicated to pinpoint exactly when it started, cooperating, but even sources close to the Newsom. It's not exactly clear what kinds of records they have received. They just have indications about what has been shot and what the government has based on what they learned from associates. So again, that should be a concern. There's no indication at this point that she is an origin of all this.
So, y'all heard, so Gavin Newsom bid to seize control of the narrative around multiple federal investigations is backfiring. Critics using the governor's accusation as Trump-led lawfare to revive long-running questions about pay-to-play politics in California. State records show Newsom has solicited over $350 million in donations from donors and special interests, some of which have received preferential treatment and millions of dollars in contracts, while also taking Jennifer Seba Newsom. Newsom has reported 2,327 million since 2007 when he was serving as lieutenant governor. The payments legal under California law, but a controversial, if not illegal, practice in some other states are reported once they hit $5,000 from a single source in a calendar year, and that they must be for a charitable, governmental, or legislative purpose. Criticism and means of using habit of soliciting donations has been gaining steam since the governor announced on Monday he and his wife are the focus of multiple federal probes. So that's the thing right there, which been going on. But he gonna sit up here and lie. So his whole motive, like I said, they whole motive is trying to destroy him. Makes it like something just coming out of him. But he know this started under Joe Biden. So it's a Assemblymaker David called the governor's excessive use of the hefty payments a loophole for political influence peddling. While something may be legal, we all know what is wrong. There are so many warning signs that people need to be paying attention to this. Is that by comparison, Newsom's Google natural predecessor Jerry Brown only solicited $35.5 billion in hefty payments from 2010 to 2018, according to records held by the Fair Political Practices Commission. Is that Newsom's use of the controversial fundraiser reported $226.5 million in behested payments, about 65% of his total since 2011. The business stretches came during the heart of the pandemic, $35.8 million in April, $33.9 million in May, $30.5 million in July, then $38.4 million in September, and $28.1 million in October. Blue Shield gave a $20 million donation in September 2020, and months later, Newsom awarded the insurer a $15 million no-bid contract to help distribute the California's vaccine. Cater Foundation gave $9.75 million to the COVID-19 response fund in December of 2020, and by 2022, Newsom was signing off on another no-bid contract for the healthcare provider to manage Medicare. Since 2020, Newsom has reported $330.7 million in behested payments. It says the giving shifted from emergency response to climate programs, workforce initiatives, immigrant services, wildfire recovery, official state travel, and the California Partners Project, the nonprofit co-founded by his wife. Thought he was going to get away with it, but he didn't get away with it. LPPC records list roughly $4.8 million from the California Partners Project since 2020. That pot of money includes $2.3 million from the Federated Indians of Grass Ranch area.
They need fucking mushrooms for everything, and there's never mushrooms in the desert.
He appointed his chairman, Greg Cyrus, to the University of California Board of Regents in 2023. The project was filed in April 2024, months before Newsom's office urged federal officials to reject a rival coordination about a month before California sued to block the project. Silicon Valley Bank gave the California Partners Project four $25,000 donations in 2021. 2 years later, Newsom lobbied the Biden administration as federal officials moved to prevent the bank collapse. The Intercept later reported that 3 of Newsom's private wineries were clients of Silicon Valley Bank. In 2025, Newsom reported $18.7 million in solicited donations, including large wildfire recovery donations after Southern California fires. The governor recently agreed to pay a $31,500 ethics fine for not reporting. Dan Snur, a teacher of political communication at UC Berkeley, previously told the governor's use of the hesitation to
Shit. I didn't know that was going to happen.
In the campaign finance law. They are not breaking any laws, he said, but Newsom is following this law more aggressively than any other politician in modern memory. Newsom has denied wrongdoing. Of course, he's going to do that. He's going to say he ain't did anything wrong. Oh, Trump just coming after him. Everybody else is coming after him. He ain't did nothing wrong. Of course, that's what he's going to say. Newsom has denied wrongdoing. His federal investigation examined finances tied to his wife and nonprofits connected to the couple who called for Newsom's arrest last year has not. A spokesperson for the governor told the Post in February that Newsom's decisions are based solely on serving the best interests of all California. That's a lie. Charitable contributions play no role in his decision-making, the spokesperson said. Any claim to the contrary. Let me y'all like I said, is coming out on Gavin Newsom and his wife. And we're going to keep Y'all heard what Professor Brad had to say. Of course, we already know what President Trump is doing. We know what he done said about Gavin Newsom, him, and Mayor Badger going to California. Get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this, and let me know that y'all stay to the very end of this video. I try my best to keep y'all updated with everything that's going on. Sometimes the videos be extremely long, but I gotta make sure, you know, people that everybody's watching and stuff like that is getting the
Okay, we're finally going to do it. We're going to talk about an emerging Australian folk hero, Auntie C.
Auntie Aboriginal.
Yeah, Auntie Aboriginal. I know you were going to do a slur then, but you caught yourself.
I know, you're very prone to censoring me on this channel, so I did my best.
Channel active kind of thing. We're not being mean to Auntie, okay? We like. And that's kind of wild. Aboriginal Australian woman.
Very opinionated.
And, I mean, I don't even know how to describe her. She's just, like, loud.
Brash?
Loud, rude, straight to the point. I think we've just got to show you. So here's an introduction to Auntie C. Now, I'm going to have a lot, and I mean a lot of blurring and quite possibly some blurring in this video. So you're going to have to sort of bear with us.
Blurring?
Yeah, you'll see. But here is Auntie C.
Of this country. To anybody who's telling anything different, you can go and get you don't know shit. This mole on my head is not Indian. I'm not fucking Indian. It's a mole. It's not a fucking red dot like the Indians. It's a mole. Smack in the middle of my forehead. You got that? Yeah, well, you're fucking better.
How do I say this? She's very, she does not like the immigrants. She was rather perturbed when people thought she was an Indian, and she had to just make that very, very clear.
Yeah, look, and if there's any kind of person that you can't be mad at for hating immigrants, it's Aboriginals.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, we've got a lot more Auntie C. Let's have a look. Let's go!
How the hell?
OpenAI recently announced they're launching ads inside ChatGPT. They claim ads won't influence answers and that advertisers won't have access to the chat history. Some employees are quitting over fears it's heading down the same path as Facebook. Do you trust OpenAI to keep your data private and your chats unbiased? How does it make you feel that programmers at these leading AI apps are the ones who get to decide what is and isn't okay for you to think? You should try this video sponsor. Venice AI lets you access the world's leading models and GPT 5.2, Claude 4.0, Gemini Flash, Sora 2 Pro, and Nano Banana. It emits generations on your behalf, so they're never tied to your identity. It also does other AIs to do well. Beyond being uncensored and privacy-focused, it can edit and upscale images, which is massive for me. It also handles document analysis extremely well. I gave it my car's encyclopedia of a user manual and just asked it questions. It literally saved me hours. You can switch between different models depending on what you're using it for. Give it a go and see what it can do for you. It's free to try and the price plan is great value. You can get an extra 20% off by using the code BEARING or visiting venice.ai/bearing. So let's treat this as a bit of a watch party. I've got this broken down into various themes, into various segments. What's Auntie C's opinions on various topics? So Auntie C's eloquent thoughts on the government.
The Australian government is a fucking joke. What the fuck are they doing in office?
Okay, Okay, so she continues about the government.
I mean, she is the voice of every Australian at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they had that referendum, the voice. Auntie C is the voice in
Yeah,
reality.
yeah.
There's no referendum, there's no need. Auntie C is already the voice.
Yeah.
So here's Auntie C's opinion on immigrants.
Prime Minister Albanese, there's too many fucking immigrants here in this country, Australia. There's too fucking many of them. They come over here so they fucking own the place. Fucking stop it. Stop the immigration, you
It's the last little bit. Oh, and she's so and she's so serious. It's not even comedy, it's just her.
I know. So she continues on a tirade about the government. This is just recent. This is her take on fuel prices.
Prime Minister Albanese, what the fuck are you doing with the fuel prices? I thought you were all about the people. Well, at the moment you're showing.
Wow. God damn.
Do something. I don't give a fuck about the economic system. You fucking do something with the fuel, you.
There's a lot of bathrooms in this place, man. This is the third one.
Well said, Auntie C. Well said. Let's send that straight to Parliament.
Oh, no, we just did a video on Smurf Cake, but if Auntie C ever had a comedy show, see, that's a comedy show I would go to.
I would. See, now I'm confused about ironic and unironic. Yeah, I would unironically go see that.
Yeah, if you came to me and were like, kids, I got Auntie C comedy show tickets tonight.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, you.
I just want to hear Auntie C's take on everything. Just the encyclopedia of Auntie C. I
Yeah.
think it would be brilliant.
You'd be like, abuse me, Auntie C. Call me a. Come on.
Yeah, so now she gets into the rising cost of living.
Oh no! Now we know everyone is a bit sore with this at the moment.
I think it's bullshit. We want money. So you better store
I put it to you that no other accent can say the way an Australian can.
Yeah, I know, it's correct.
It just feels natural. It just feels at home.
Yeah, it's very, very. It rolls off the tongue.
It almost sounds beautiful coming from an Australian.
So she sort of sticks with the theme, but she's more generalised now. Here she is talking about large corporations.
corporations in this fucking world. Because the spirit world is gonna fucking come down hard, I think. Mark my words. Better get your fucking shit together. Cause there's more population in the spirit world than there is in the fucking physical world.
Everything has to end with.
So there we have it, Auntie C on big corporations and their comeuppance in the spirit world.
I put it to you that we should start using Auntie C for welcome to countries.
Yeah, welcome to countries. So anyway, next we've got Auntie C showing her frustration, demonstrating her ire.
Oh yeah.
her ire at Amazon taking too long to deliver her shit.
Oh no, come on, Amazon. It's like no rush.
Well, I relate to a lot of things. See, all these like next few things. We've done the politics now. This is all generalised, everyday stuff that I've got to say I can absolutely relate to. I kind of saw myself in Auntie C here, not in that way. I kind of saw a bit of myself in her attitude here.
Yeah, I can see it.
Can hurry up, bag. My stuff should be on its way now. Debbie, you fucking dog.
I know the feeling. So this next one I can definitely relate to. This is Auntie C talking about how nobody fucking leaves her alone. And I gotta say, I saw this clip and I totally related between you and the fucking kid and the fucking dog and the fucking cat.
What are you talking about? You're in this room.
Me alone
You're
for
in
a
this
sec.
room like 16 fucking hours a day.
I'm not in this room 16 hours a day.
I take care of the kid, I do all that shit, and then at night time when you come and try and talk to me, I'm like, fuck off! I just want to play my game.
I'm fucking sick of you cunts sticking your hand in every fucking thing I do. Butt out. Leave me alone. Fuck off. Someone's gotta touch me, or annoy me, or do some fucking thing to me. Non-stop, from the minute I wake up to the minute I fall asleep. Some is always fucking touching me.
Who's touching Auntie C?
I don't know.
She's a bit too angry, though.
Yeah, she could be a bit too angry, but I think, like, I mean, it's like the other day when I was looking for the saucepan in the fucking cupboard.
Oh,
We'd just been to the park with the kid, and she was being a little shit. And I composed myself very well. I was very, very calm, and I took the tantrum, and I was very, very fucking, what's the word, level about it. And then we got home, and I went to cook something, and I couldn't find the right pan. And all of a sudden, comes out and pans went flying everywhere. But then, like, 2 seconds later, I was fine. Like, just, yeah, look, I let it out, okay, it's gone. I think the kid was outside. I'm glad she didn't see that. Sometimes you just gotta let that go, you know what I mean?
Punching bag downstairs that you insisted
Where you at? Where you at? Hiding in the bush? Yeah.
We've got what is in the fucking roof. And I had one of these moments the other day, because every now and then you get like, is that a possum or something in the roof? Do I have to fucking get a guy?
Yeah.
Do I have to get a guy? Do I have to get one of those cages and put apples in? What the fuck?
What's in my fucking roof? I'm not taking care of this. I'm too fucking short. I ain't like it.
Yeah, what is it?
What possum is getting any sleep in Auntie C's room?
I don't know. Next, we've got Auntie C on.
Afternoon, right there with some good work. Here is your reward.
Thank you, sir.
You looking to rev your engines?
I'm gonna give you my
Okay, so a rare jovial one. Next, we've got Auntie C and her opinion on OnlyFans.
Yes!
These fellas think it's good showing your fucking ass off to everyone.
Thank you very much.
That's where your shit comes in. You think it's good? Fucking idiots. Kids.
She's got a point.
That's where your shit comes out.
I was not expecting
I've got
that.
some work for you. Well, that's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Wear some racy underwear for an old bitty.
Yeah, for an old granny Aboriginal. So that's all we got of Auntie C. This next one, I thought I'd chuck this one in for good measure. Some of the most based people at the moment, it seems, in Australia are actually old Aboriginal women.
Yeah.
So this is an old Aboriginal woman talking about Palestine protesters and how she would change Australia in her view. This is actually, like, you're not gonna believe where this goes.
I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck who you little Aboriginal sovereignty fighters are.
So a lot of this you're not going to be able to understand.
Yeah, we need that interpreter.
Saddle my carburetor.
The Western Australian interpreter. Yeah, we actually need it for this one.
You're not gonna spoil this for my family. You're not gonna spoil this for my family who are multicultural in Broomtown.
That came with a full no money back guarantee.
Up Australia. Because you want to support Palestine. Because they have G-side in common with us. Nah. You keep them away from my fucking people. They'll marry your children. You stay away, Palestine. You stay away. I don't care who you sovereign people are. You will not destroy Australia. You want to stick up with them. White Australia policy now.
What? Australia policy now. I mean, this is an Aboriginal woman saying white Australia policy. And so what she means is, like, when we had the white Australia policy, it was just us and the whiteys. So, I mean, look, I'm not making any claim of allegiance to that statement. I'm kind of like, yeah, it's whatever. I do agree. We need less. So she's fucking right there. But how is that? An Aboriginal woman saying, white, this is great Australia policy, that's what we fucking had, it was good back then, you,
Yeah, they don't fit in.
No more brown people in this country coming in.
I love it. This may be my favourite video ever, Barry.
You know what I loved most about this woman, right? Is how would the typical lefty, like the typical rabid lefty, handle her?
Yes, we'd have to open our Venn diagrams of oppression.
Yeah, because she's an Aborigine, she's indigenous, but she's saying no fucking brown people, white Australia policy now. How are they gonna fucking handle her?
Yeah, it's moot. It's moot. Aboriginals are on the top of the oppression pyramid.
Well, are they? I mean, according to the lefties, I don't know. Who's more oppressed, the Palestinians or the Aboriginals? So I think their heads would just fucking explode. Who's the oppressor here?
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say Aboriginals?
Aboriginals, yeah.
Aboriginals.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
No more Muslims coming in either. Right? White Australia policy right now. Right now. Don't you sovereignty black people think you're gonna this up for Australia just because you want to sympathize with some fucking Palestine? Don't you fucking think you're gonna this up for Australia?
Wow.
White Australia policy, white now.
Yeah, isn't that fucking bizarre?
We don't want no more browns in this country.
Yeah. So that was the based Aboriginal old woman episode, I guess. Visit Chukatit, she has a channel.
Yes, I do.
Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
See ya.
I want to find something that'll play for a while.
I think the normie American take on gay people is, I don't care if you're gay, just don't be so gay about it.
Girl, please. Nobody's that gay.
Meaning, stop shoving pride down our throats and up our asses.
Phrase it!
Two stories making the rounds demonstrate this perfectly. Controversy over Major League Baseball hats and California requiring proof of your gayness to be awarded public utilities contracts. After a 2022 peak, recent Gallup poll shows that support for gay marriage in the Republican Party has declined for the first time in years. It has fallen to 37%, down from 55% in 2022. It's down among independents as well. Democratic support has remained the same, but pride fatigue is a real thing.
Is this line for heterosexuals only?
No.
Good, because I'm gay.
The way this shit is framed in these articles, the Gallup articles, is so dishonest. It reads, this change has come as conservative leaders have pushed back against diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that were intended to foster greater acceptance of LGBTQ people and other historically disadvantaged groups. Oh, that's what it was. You see, I thought pride was losing the public because teenagers started chopping their body parts off, and everyone had to pretend they wanted drag queens reading to their kids, and people would have their lives ruined for not using the right pronouns.
Women prisoners who misgender trans inmates face extra jail time.
I think it was when trans women demanded women at spas wax their balls. I'm pretty sure it's when men started competing in women's sports and when they started putting tampons in the men's room and when Target started selling tuck-friendly swimwear that the support started to plummet. Even our big gay
Top-friendly
audience
swimwear.
agrees,
What?
by the way. You pushed the normies too far. In June of 2023, I wrote about this for
That doesn't make
Spectator
sense.
magazine in a piece called How Pride Lost the Public. It was the height, as those of you might remember, of the Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney backlash.
This month I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it.
And the Target boycott. And not to brag, but Queen of Turf Island, Her Majesty J.K. Rowling shared this piece.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
In it, I ask, what happened to Pride? After decades of progress for gay rights, majority acceptance of gay marriage, and same-sex relationships, Pride is divisive again. And for the article, I spoke to very prominent LGBT thinkers and writers. Andrew Sullivan summarized it perfectly. The core reason for the backlash is pretty simple. Children. The attempt to indoctrinate children in gender ideology and to trans them on the verge of puberty has changed the debate. Start indoctrinating and transing children, and you will re-energize one of the oldest homophobic tropes there is, child molesters. And as I said in my article, this is the problem with Pride. You can no longer opt out of the ideology. The trans activism changed everything. It's coercive. It's everywhere. Suck my dick, bigot, is a long way from love is love. We've covered the Pride TM overreach for years on Dumpster Fire. There was a woman who went viral with her video tutorial of how to explain kink to kids when they see something at a Pride parade that might confuse them.
Those people were doing a type of and just like when you put on your dinosaur costume and that makes you feel good, when they put on those things, it makes them feel really good.
What is going on? Let's keep the conversation about kink let's keep it to adults. We can't forget Pride Puppy, the pre-K book with terms like intersex, drag queen, underwear, leather. And of course there was Skittles releasing a colorless candy because there's only one rainbow that matters during Pride Month. We had pronoun water bottles, calling women uterus havers, and the CDC guidance endorsing chest feeding, describing the insane cocktail of drugs that men can take to induce some sort of human breast milk so they can satisfy their fetish and breastfeed a baby.
I call it the mammary gland.
I could taking Advil when I was pregnant. You're telling these males that they're supposed to take this cocktail of drugs, which include, but are not limited to, estrogen, antipsychotics, a drug that's off market, and all of this has led to pride fatigue. And let me tell you though, I went to Target the other day. Sorry, honey.
How dare you?
I know I'm not allowed. He's shaking his head.
I'll deal with that later.
I went to Target the other day, and there wasn't a rainbow in sight. It was all red, white, and blue displays. So clearly, someone got the memo. The corporations got the message that they needed to dial back the price of transing kids and dial up the price of What I hate, and what most people hate, is compelled speech. It's not just me who hates it. Most people hate it. My toddler really hates it. What I despise is pride being treated like a state religion. And I want to be clear. We here at Dumpster Fire love the gays. We've got lots of the old school gay fans on this show. They know we love them. They've been mostly agreeing with us this whole time. We love the gays, the lesbians, the trans who aren't out of their minds, all two of them. But the bis...
The bees are f***ing gross.
I'm Bridget Fetisi, and this is your Dumpster Fire. Welcome to Dumpster Fire, where we make burgers out of your sacred rainbow cows. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central. Get in the chat. It's an amazing time there. I love you all. Go subscribe to my other podcast, Walk-ins welcome at More Bridget Fantasy. It's where I have long-form conversations with amazing guests. It's basically my college education. If you want more content, go to fantasy.com. That is the home base. Essays, episodes, and podcasts I do with my husband, Factory Settings. We're going to do one on patriotism for you. Bonus content, all of it is in one place. I know.
Too many notes.
But before we get into it, a quick word from our sponsor. Getting older is rough, especially when you have to do it on camera. But even when you have to do it off camera, it's still rough. My solution is my Bond Charge red light face mask. You all know I love my red light face mask. I use it all the time, 10 minutes every other night. It's incredibly
need to be carrying
simple.
those
You
around.
can wear it while you're doing your chores, folding laundry, scrolling, although I just turn everything off and breathe. It's my me time. It's the 10 minutes to myself where I can stop and relax and do that meditation I promised myself I'm gonna do, and I know it will help me look better and feel better. The red light face mask boosts collagen and elastin production, and it helps get rid of fine lines, wrinkles. Bond Charge removes circadian and sleep disrupting blue
Let me go
and green
inside
light
and
from
catch
their
my
red light
breath.
face mask, so it can even help you with your sleep. And it also helps with sore jaw,
I might be able to.
eczema, migraines, acne, scar tissue, wound healing, razor burn, and even ingrown facial hair. Bond Charge has a fantastic range of products. So go check them all out at bondcharge.com.
What do I need?
Use the coupon code Bridget to save 15%. That's
I need duct tape
BONCHARGE.
and short iron pipe.
Bridget, and use coupon code Bridget to save 15%.
I hate when I do that.
Hello. 3 Major League Baseball players have received warnings from MLB because they wrote Bible verses on their Pride Night baseball caps. You know how all the sports teams go full homo and turn their logos into rainbows and to pledge fealty to the Pride Month gods. Specifically, the players wrote Gen 9:12, verse 16. That verse comes from Genesis, where God describes the rainbow as a sign of the covenant with the earth. Well, the Christians are taking the rainbow back, just like women took back the word slut. These guys are trying to pray
Step
the
on
pride
in
word
out of the
from
heat
their
and have a look.
It's a
Machines that'll
conversion
make you
cap.
grin from ear to ear.
Of all the good reasons for us to go to war, it's gonna end up being some stupid shit.
I don't
like
understand why
There's
you
no
suck.
winning in baseball, guys. Kira Davis made a great point about this on Walk-ins Welcome, though. Forget about the sexuality aspect or the moral aspect of it. It just has no place in sports. Because when you're talking about pride, what are you talking about? You're talking about sex. That's the only defining factor for gay people. It's not race or gender.
You can't beat that with a
is such
stick.
Crucial point,
I could.
and one that I've
Give me a
kind of
stick.
forgotten about.
I'll
because
show
after
ya.
Years of rainbow rapery, we don't even think about it. Pride Month, Pride Night, Pride Parades. It's just pride, 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 pride. It's actually all just about sex and who you want to bone. And people will be like, no, it's about love. It's about the freedom to love who you want. But what makes you gay is who you have sex with. And why do we need Major League Baseball celebrating sex and affirming people's sexual preferences? We don't. Love is love was so sneaky, honestly. It just means you like sex that won't actually create anything except a mess. Libs online will think they're dunking on people when they're commenting and saying, shut up and dribble, but that's what these
You
guys
name it.
want to
Old
do.
Bob's got it.
They don't want any of this. They just want to play the game and not have to wear some ideology on their uniform. And I'm telling you,
If mama
even
ain't
the
happy,
gays are
ain't nobody happy.
Get some queers and some trucks and have us a good old-fashioned fag drag.
Even the gays! They're like, stop this! Congressman LGBTQ activist Dan Savage of Savage Love, for those of you who don't know, a very gay activist, said on X the other day, for f***'s sake, please stop forcing professional athletes to wear rainbow hats and jerseys in June. It's not helping. Honestly, what really strikes me about all of this is how much we fight about hats in America. Small ones, pointy ones, red ones, spurs ones, knitted ones, turbans. It's crazy. The height of privilege is just being able to fight about hats. MAGA hats, pussy hats, sombreros, even the Indian headdresses. They banned Native American headdresses from Coachella because, well, probably because of these dudes, to be honest. And it's probably because these dudes complained, your Native American headdress is making me uncomfortable.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Fun fact, a 181-year-old ban on head coverings in the House was lifted to accommodate Ilhan Omar's hijab. And honestly, That's the day we lost America. No, not to Islam, to women.
Ah, women, huh? God, I hate them.
But also to Islam.
God, I hate him.
The women pussy hat had to take the design off her Etsy shop because it was trans exclusionary. You guys forget how that was like a big hat and then it immediately got canceled for centering people with the exact anatomy it was named after. It was canceled for being too literal. It was crazy. That's probably the fastest the group has ever turned on anything. But my favorite of all the hat fights took place in 1922. New Yorkers rioted for 8 days because men were wearing straw hats after September 15th. This is a real thing. Look it up. It's called the Straw Hat Riot of 1922. Then straw voters were in season only May 15th to September 15th, where one past the cutoff and roving youths would knock it off your head and stomp it. Wearing a straw hat after autumn is definitely a reason to cave someone's head in. That's positively classless.
Who is this ghastly man?
And it started 2 days earlier. Like, it started on the 13th. A bunch of kids couldn't even wait for official hat beating season. No respect for tradition, honestly. I don't know what was going on here. It really escalated, though, when they tried to stop the dock workers' hats, and the dock workers fought back. And then a mob of 1,000 people moved up Amsterdam Avenue snatching hats. This is the largest fashion police department in American history. And nobody gets taught about it in schools. According to Wikipedia, gangs of teenagers prowled the streets wielding large sticks, sometimes with a nail driven through the top for hooking hats. You might as well be describing New York City after the Knicks win, when they roamed the streets, mercilessly beating people for wearing a jersey with a different millionaire's name on it. Another fun and random fact that makes me believe we live in a simulation. The longest recorded sentence for the hat riot was doled out by Magistrate Peter A. Hatting. Hatting. Imagine going in front of Judge Hatting for hat swiping. And this has to be the simulation. The Knicks won and they lit school buses on fire.
I wonder if we can get Daniel Day-Lewis back for things in New York City until
The hat riot? Such a random thing. Clearly I went down a rabbit hole and got obsessed. Imagine explaining your hospital stay in 1922. What happened? It's September 17th and I love my straw hat. Say no more. You brought this upon yourself. I was in a hurry and I grabbed my straw instead of my pork pie. I'm sorry, sir. You'll never walk again. And before we feel superior and get all full of ourselves, somewhere in America tonight a guy is getting jumped outside a stadium for the hat he's wearing. We didn't evolve. Our hats just got worse. Maybe those boat hat wearing dock workers were gay. Wearing a straw hat after 9:15?
That means you're gay.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, touch my bells and buttons, and tell your friends about us. You have to stick around through the ad to see the weather report, guys. Sorry, them's the rules. Summer is here, guys, and we all want to look good and feel good, and that starts with the food we put in our bodies. My audience knows I'm obsessed with masa chips. My husband is also obsessed with them. My whole family is. Most chips on the shelf have 40 ingredients, seed oils, artificial flavors, mystery chemicals, and that's what our families are snacking on every day. Masa chips contain just 3: organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That's it.
Where'd it go?
No seed oils, no mystery chemicals, just real food the way it used to be made. As a mom,
Yes.
I can feel good about my daughter eating masa chips as a snack or dinner. And these chips don't only avoid all the bad stuff, they taste incredible. With masa, you can actually feel good afterwards. Ready to give masa a try? Go to masachips.com/dumpster and use code dumpster for 25% off your first order. One thing to know, masa uses real ingredients and makes everything in small batches. Certain flavors go out of stock regularly, and they are always introducing new ones. What's the new one they just brought?
Hatch chili.
Ooh, hatch chili.
It's winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gone already.
They might be out of stock again.
I haven't changed the tribe.
I don't think I did, actually. Attention me now! I just finally got my hands on hatch chili. Just kidding, my husband ate it all. But hopefully it's not sold out and you can get your hands on it. Again, that's masachips.com/dumpster and use code dumpster for 25% off, or click the link in the video description code. There's a link in the description below. Thank you for supporting the people who support us. You truly do keep the lights on up in this bitch. All right, now let's check the weather with Bella Osorio.
The fuck was that? And why was it in my ear? Ooh, that thing did not want to die.
$633 million in contracts, but only to companies that can prove they're gay. It's actually a real thing. Somebody online was like, this was the plot to Three's Company, where Jack had to just fake being gay so he could live with two girls. There's an official state gay certification with a checklist and documents. And if you lie about being gay to get the money, you can do up to a year in jail. California requires more evidence that you're gay to get a utilities contract than they require for someone to vote. To vote. Nothing. No proof of residency or citizenship or anything.
I don't need that. We just need to get through town.
To get the gay bucks, a documented case file complete with an official certificate of gayness. So you might be wondering what everyone was wondering. How do you prove that you're gay? Option 1, a letter from an LGBT organization. Option 2, proof a newspaper once identified you as gay. Or option 3, my favorite, 3 letters from personal contacts on company letterhead attesting to your orientation. Jesus Christ. This is real? Yeah. 100% real. I love when Darren finds out about things in real time here. Oh yeah, way less. It's a gay certification program. We called all your friends, they said you were gay. Most people have no trouble finding 3 friends to call them gay and put it in writing, by the way. Jarvis, best follow on Axe, said, I can pass the written qualifications. It's the oral I'm worried about. And if you fake it, oh God, heaven forbid there's fraud in California. If you fake it and you pretend you're gay, you can get up to a year in county jail, which when you think about it is a bold move, sending a guy to prison to finish his gay certification. They know he's coming out fully credentialed. Everybody wins. And here's the part that gets me. The left will go, oh, here's Christopher Rufo. Christopher Rufo is the journalist who's responsible for this reporting at City Journal. You should go read it. Oh, here's Christopher Rufo with his homophobic propaganda. And all he did was report a thing you're actually doing. He didn't invent it. He didn't make it up. He read it off your own website. The only reason it sounds insane is because it is. Just let people do business, you lunatics. This is a scam with a rainbow on it. So let me get this straight. You just have to prove you're gay to land public contracts worth millions of dollars. I know a lot of guys who aren't gay who'd suck a dick for a couple of million. I volunteer as tribute. Hell, 20 grand. Honestly, just buy him a nice dinner and you've got a contractor. All right, that's it. We're out. We're gay. I'm gay. You're gay. We're all gay. Everyone has AIDS. Join us at Fantasy.com and get the unedited version of Dumpster Fire. Plus, you get access to our community and a whole lot more. Dumpster Fire Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central right here. Join us in the chat. And now to cleanse your palate, the internet is glorious!
Great to meet you. I'm just going to fit into the diversity requirements, so we're just going to skip through that portion. Oh, unless you are gay, perhaps? Gay. Congratulations. Yeah. Very accepting of that. We support all the things. Of course, we will have to verify. But no big deal. We'll just need proof of that. 6 videos, references that you have intercourse Swift, quick call, bing, bang, boom, move on.
I don't know if I have any references.
Is that going to be a problem?
I just don't know if I have their numbers. Being gay and all, it's all discreet. And
There's a second option.
What is it?
Well, we do, of course, have our in-house diversity confirmation officers. One of them can just take you to the diversity bed, make love to you, just a formality.
Diversity bed?
Hey, Tony, Ahmed, Brad, get in here.
So this Tommy guy's just in here somewhere?
So Tommy, you'd prefer? Yeah, I think he's made his choice, Tommy.
Where do you go?
You do seem a little hesitant. You are, in fact, diverse, correct?
I'm very gentle. What was the pay again?
About 120K a year. All right, check that off here, and it's between you and about 45 other applicants. We will let you know.
Remember, life is absurd. Clearly, don't take yourself so seriously. Take the work seriously. Don't take your gay self seriously. This has been your Dumpster Fire. I'm Bridget Fetisi. Now make me rich. Jazz hands. Jazz hands.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns.
Oh, I don't want this shit. Wow, it's taken a long time to pick this lock.
How will cannabis survive the apocalypse? Did William Shakespeare smoke a bowl before he wrote a play? Why do you get the munchies after Tokyo? Which presidents liked to get killed on their downtime? And can you smoke so much weed that it kills you? These are 50 chronically insane facts about weed. Fact 50. Cannabis is believed to be one of the earliest plants to be cultivated by humans. Mentions of it from the small fact of 3000 BC. Neolithic archaeological sites that are over 10,000 years old. Most of the early evidence of cannabis use comes from Asia, with prehistoric cannabis residues and hemp fiber imprints having been found across China, Japan, India, and the Middle East. Historians believe that these ancient cultures used the plant not just for its psychoactive properties, but also to make rope, clothes, shoes, paper, and even as a food source. Fact 49. Have you ever wondered where the word marijuana actually comes from? Well, there are a couple of competing theories. According to one popular story, it comes from an Nahuatl word meaning prisoner. This explanation probably isn't true, though, as it was first popularized by anti-drug campaigner Harry Benson in the 1930s. The more likely explanation is that it comes from the Chinese marenhua, meaning hemp flower. Ganja, another popular nickname for the drug, comes from the Sanskrit word for the hemp plant. Fact 48. People have had it out for cannabis for over 700 years. Throughout history, marijuana has been mainly used for medicinal and spiritual purposes, but even so, it's always been a pretty controversial substance. In fact, the first known laws restricting marijuana use come from all the way back in the Middle Ages. The earliest known anti-cannabis legislation is believed to be a law passed in the 1300s by an Arabian emir called Sodun Sheikuni. Cannabis use was also made illegal by Napoleon Bonaparte during his reign and was widely outlawed throughout the British Empire during its heyday. Fact 47. The United States has something of a love-hate relationship with the hemp plant. America started restricting the sale of the drug in 1906, but only made it outright illegal in 1937 when the Marijuana Tax Act was passed. For some reason, hemp was outlawed alongside cannabis, but that wasn't the case for long. Once the U.S. entered World War II, the government started making propaganda that encouraged hemp cultivation. Since the hemp plant could be used to make cheap but durable rope and canvas, that was vital to the war effort. Hemp was then banned again in the 70s under the Controlled Substances Act, and the plant remained illegal until the Controlled Substances Act was revived in 2018. Even though the cultivation of hemp is still strictly regulated, in 2019 the U.S. managed to become the world's biggest China and Canada. Fact 46. Urkel. In 2021, actor Jaleel White launched his own brand of recreational weed called a variant of the purple Urkel cannabis. Jaleel was back in the 90s for playing the nerdy Steve Urkel on the sitcom Family Matters. When asked about It's Purple by Forbes, White said he started the business because he was tired of seeing his character's name and likeness used without his involvement, and figured he could get in on the action. He even filmed ads for it alongside Snoop Dogg, where he was fully in character as Steve Urkel. Legend Bob Marley was buried with weed. Perhaps one of the most famous tokers of all time, God. According to some accounts, he was with a football, his beloved Gibson guitar, and a bud of great beyond. Fact 44. There are 1,000 ways to say it. Literally, some reported that there are particularly used slang terms for cannabis, and here are some of our favorites: weed, bud, ganja, chronic, grass, wacky tobacco, reefer, herb, green goddess, sweet Mary Jane, Donna Juanita, pot, dank, and the devil's lettuce. If we forgot one of your favorites, let us know in the comments. Fact 33. Tupac's closest friends smoked him. And no, that's not true. In 1996, his old band and close friends, the Outlaws, claimed to have gave him a true rapper send-off, rolling some of his cremains into a joint with some weed and smoking it. While some have doubted these claims, the Outlaws themselves have stuck to their story. Personally, we've been big ones up there. Fact 42. A group of weed-hunting fiends invented 420. It's one of the most popular codes for cannabis, and it's the reason that April 20th, previously best known as the birthday of the decidedly uncool Adolf Hitler, is now synonymous with sharing some herbal love. In the early 1970s, legendary weed farm in their area, using the code 420 to signify the hunts. While they never found the El Dorado of ganja, their story and their simple tale was picked up by the magazine High Times, and the band Grateful Dead, leaving the phrase becoming forever cemented in cannabis culture. Fact 41. Washington. And this is kind of poetic, given the state's namesake, America's first president, George Washington, famously cultivated hemp crops. He was a big fan of the plant, mentioning it over 90 times in his personal diaries. But there is no evidence that he ever used it to get high. Instead, he likely grew the plant due to its valuable resource for manufacturing those sturdy ropes we mentioned earlier for use in ship construction. The original United States flag, created by Betsy Ross, was even made out of the kind of hemp that Washington loved cultivating. It's as American as apple pie. Fact 40. A lot of celebrities smoke weed. Seriously, it'd be a whole video to list them all, but some of the most prominent, famous, avowed potheads include Jennifer Lawrence, Kirsten Dunst, Miley Cyrus, Zoe Kravitz, Lady Gaga, Brad Pitt, Jane Fonda, Harrison Ford, Charlize Theron, Pete Davidson, Morgan Freeman, Patrick Stewart, Rihanna, Snoop Dogg and Seth Rogen, Willie Nelson, Woody Harrelson, Kendall Jenner, and Matthew McConaughey. And those are just the ones who admit it. Fact 39. Washington wasn't the only president with a history of weed use, and these presidents actually did smoke it. George W. Bush is an admitted weed user, and Barack Obama even had a weed-smoking club in his youth called the Choom Gang. According to some of the Choom Gang's officers, Obama actually developed some new weed consumption techniques, including TA, or total absorption, and roof hits. And yes, there is a cruel irony to the fact that both those presidents smoked weed, but neither of them legalized it on the federal level. We guess they just wanted it. 38. The government could be making billions of dollars from marijuana. Extrapolating from the tax money that states with legal weed have already made, it's estimated that across the entire United States, the federal government could make $8.5 billion in taxes, and potentially more if they institute a so-called potency tax, where taxation of cannabis is put on a sliding scale based on how potent the strain is. And even this is nothing compared to the money that private industry stands to make. In all 50 states, bigger market. 37. The U.S. military experimented with weaponized weed. Researchers at the Air Force facility in Maryland pioneered the pilot. 3 times fast, an extremely potent cannabinoid agent that had an elimination half-life half of 20 to some serious sticky. Standard sedative and hallucinogenic effect, it also caused a low blood pressure, dizziness, fainting, ataxia, and muscle weakness. So much so that someone under the effects of dimethylheptylpyrin had difficulty even standing upright. Obviously, the researchers at Edgewood didn't invent this just so U.S. soldiers could get high on government-subsidized ultra weed. They were exploring the possibility because of the potential risks involved to the health of civilians and the political system of weed. For some people, marijuana use is a religious affair. In some countries, even in Italy, after a lengthy court battle back in 2008, it was deemed that people of the Rastafarian faith could keep weed for purely personal use as a religious sacrament. And in possession cases, it would be up to the courts to decide, based on the quantity of weed, whether it was for personal use or trafficking. Fact 35. Weed is giving coffee a run for its money. At least in Denver, in 2011, some counts showed weed dispensaries outnumbering Starbucks locations 300 to 266. Weed dispensaries were so rife that a popular local magazine even had a reporter who gave their take on the local crime. Fact 34. Weed is the world's favorite illicit drug. While debate rages on about how exactly weed is classified, one thing definitely isn't up for debate. The fact that people absolutely love it. According to some data, 219 million people, that's 4.3% of the global population between the ages of 16 and 64, used cannabis at least once in 2021. Fact 33. One of the first sales ever brokered on the internet was allegedly weed. In 1971, a Stanford student and an MIT student connected over the ARPANET, the precursor of the internet. How did these two students of two of the country's most prestigious institutions use this connection?
Man, that felt good.
Get high, of course.
I hate those guys.
Organized the sale of weed, and in the process became accidental pioneers of illicit e-commerce. Fact 32. How much weed does it take to kill you? Well, we can only discuss this theoretically, given that there are no recorded deaths related to cannabis overdose. Of course, it is possible to have a bad reaction, especially if you take too many edibles, which have a more potent high than smoking. But when it comes to drugs that are still illegal, cannabis is still one of the safest out there, compared to fentanyl, where as little as 2 milligrams can be fatal. Fact 31. Some people have proposed medical marijuana for dogs. However, while some pet owners have given anecdotal evidence of their sick pets having been released from marijuana, most veterinary experts are skeptical. Dogs in particular are extremely vulnerable to marijuana toxicity, especially when weed is consumed in a vector that dogs already shouldn't be eating, like brownies. So just to be safe, stick only to the treatments prescribed by professionals when treating your sick pets, or you could be putting their life on the line. Fact 30. Weed is in the air over Italy. And no, it isn't because Italy has a massive population who just love indulging in newly legalized religious sacraments. We're not entirely sure why they did this, but Italy's Institute for Atmospheric Pollution Research decided to conduct a year-long study to monitor the effects of psychotropic substances in the air in 8 different Italian cities: Bologna, Florence, Milan, Naples, Palermo, Rome, Turin, and Verona. They ended up finding trace amounts of marijuana and cocaine in all 8 of them. Fact 29. A North Carolina hospital thought people were toking up around newborns. Social services started getting extremely concerned when urine tests from a number of newborns appeared to show trace amounts of marijuana in their systems. preference for weed, and the same goes for whether someone is likely to become dependent on it. Researchers have identified 3 different genetic markers as predictors for the likelihood of cannabis dependence. Fascinatingly, these same genetic markers are often also predictors for depression, showing that people who suffer from depression. Fact 24. If you're an unlucky stoner, you might get cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. And that might sound horrifying, but there is no but. It actually is horrifying. Chronic cannabis users who suffer from the syndrome will experience periods of severe nausea followed by cycles of 48-hour period. That doesn't sound like a fun time to us. Fact 24. Really creative with how they smuggle weed. Here's a highlight reel of some of the most deranged ways weed has been smuggled. 766 pounds of pot hidden in broccoli. 1,500 pounds hidden in 4,000 pounds hidden in fake limes. $500,000 worth of it hidden in fake carrots. And even weed hidden in vats of strawberry jam. It's kind of weird how most of them are just fruits and vegetables. Let's see some creativity, guys. Debates have raged on for years on whether Shakespeare and Marx were on a bit of a complex. Excavation of the immortal bard's home, and pipes were found with, among other things, immediately this, plus Shakespeare's reference to a noted weed during one of his songs, and people claiming that one of history's greatest playwrights was found stone. This immediately led to scholarly debate after scholarly debate, with some on the side of weed, and skeptics claiming that there's no proof that the pipes even belonged to Shakespeare. The debate has raged on for so long that Francis Thackeray, an anthropologist from South Africa, has requested the opportunity to visit Shakespeare's grave and test his remains for any traces of cannabis. They might be taking this a little bit too seriously. Fact 21. Weed might change how you think about money. Studies have shown that cannabis reduces activity in the nucleus accumbens, a reward center of the brain involved in dopamine production. Under the influence of cannabis are less likely to produce the kind of dopamine that motivates them toward external rewards, like money. And that's why it can sometimes be difficult to get anything done while you're high. That means that you're spending too much time thinking about old SpongeBob SquarePants episodes. What doesn't get those pants? Fact 20. Why does weed give you the famous munchies? It's all down to the 3 magic letters, THC. It stimulates the endocannabinoid receptors in the brain, which connect to regulation centers for in most users, this triggers an appetite increase that has them reaching for the pill. While to most people this is just a little annoying, it can actually serve as a major medicinal
God damn.
for people undergoing a loss of appetite during chemotherapy. Medical marijuana can even get these untreated cancer patients eating again, which is a huge boon for their overall health and quality of life. Fact 19. The Rastafarians aren't the only religious group who use cannabis in holy ceremonies. We do holy ceremonies with an eye. During the Festival of Colors, many Hindus enjoy a nice, refreshing cup of Tandai, which literally means cooling off. But for some, the Tandai is a little holier than others, because it's spiked with baham, an edible strain of cannabis found in India. Partakers have reported feeling a light, pleasant buzz upon consumption. The holy significance of the baham-triggered Tandai links to an old tale about Lord Shiva, but that's a little too much to get into in a video about fun weed facts. Fact 18. Cannabis can be used to treat epilepsy. As a life-threatening chronic condition that's believed to affect around 50 million people globally, doctors and scientists are always looking for new treatment options for sufferers. Thankfully, certain synthetic cannabinoids have shown promise in reducing the severity of seizures. The FDA-approved drug Epidiolex has been effective in treating 2 different extremely rare and dangerous forms of epilepsy, Lennox-Gastaut syndrome and Dravet syndrome. And as cannabis laws continue to relax, even more of the medicinal possibilities of cannabis are likely to be explored by researchers.
So what can I do for you this evening? You need something fixed?
Cannabis can actually help treat other addictions. The lighter side of the nucleus accumbens dulling comes with the fact that cannabis use can reduce cravings for other addictive substances.
Looking to motor
if
around?
a person is trying to break their habit. This is true for more common addictions like alcohol, as well as some of the harder addictions. In more extreme cases, cannabis has even been an unexpected boon in helping people affected by the opioid epidemic. Fact 16. If you're at genetic risk of schizophrenia, you should keep off the grass. While this won't be the case with most users, multiple studies have shown that people genetically predisposed to psychotic disorders, like schizophrenia, may see their chances of developing symptoms worsen, especially if they use cannabis or are exposed to cannabis use earlier in life. In addition to lowering cognitive function with extended use, it increases the likelihood of hallucinations, delusions, and paranoia. Plenty of cannabis users report temporary paranoia during use, but when you're still experiencing it between sessions, then maybe it's time to lay off the leaf. Fact 15. One of the biggest steps back for America's marijuana legalization came with one of its most controversial presidents, Tricky Dick himself, Richard Nixon. As we know from the hours upon hours of rambling recordings he took of himself, Nixon's war on drugs was actually a war on disenfranchisement, intended to lock up and take the voting rights from hippies and black people who generally opposed his policy positions. And the racist legacy of Nixon's war on drugs still exists today. Black people are arrested at greater rates for weed possession than white people in America, even in states where marijuana is legal, all thanks to Tricky Dick. Fact 14. Why is an edible high so much different from a smoke high? It's practically a meme among weed lovers that while smoke hits you quicker, edibles wait for a bit and then hit you like a truck. They give a more powerful body high that can endure for hours and leave you in a living dream or a waking nightmare. So what's the difference? Why the delayed action and upped intensity?
Don't forget repair kits. You don't want to end up stranded or have your gun jam on you.
Metabolized differently, it's that it's going to get metabolized to different degrees in different parts of the body, depending on the route of administration. The real difference between edibles and smoking or vaping is that with edibles, a much larger fraction of delta-9 THC makes it to the liver first. There, it gets converted to a liver is quite low, and if you take an edible, it's much higher. Fact 13. Weed will survive.
Sorry about the mess.
It ain't bragging if you done it. Here's your pay.
One of the many samples kept at Svalbard Global Seed Vault. They store over 21,500 cannabis seeds from 17 different countries, kept safe and sound in the event of
I'm gonna do the explosives. I might as well.
Cataclysm. So don't worry if you're part of the post-apocalyptic tribe or a Mad Max-style raider gang in the wasteland, you can still enjoy a toke at the end of the day. Fact 12. The inventor of weed brownies was a plucky American activist, Mary Jane Rathbun, and no, that isn't why weed is called Mary Jane, it's just a funny coincidence, was also known as Brownie Mary.
I think I've got a few. You're as brave as a bigamist. Good luck.
Protections of people suffering from AIDS at the height of the AIDS crisis. As part of her charity work for AIDS patients, she'd bake cannabis into brownies and give them out. And in the process, she noticed that it seemed to alleviate some of their suffering related to their illness. Her work is likely one of the many important foundations for cannabis research and activism to this day. Despite her passing away from a heart attack in 1999, fact 11, in Bhutan, as plentiful as it is, it naturally grows, especially in the Bhutanese countryside, where it's so prolific that in some places it grows out of the cracks in pavements. It's illegal to cultivate it as a drug in Bhutan, but farmers often feed it to their pigs to fatten them up. Maybe humans will someday get that privilege when the pigs get high enough to actually fly. Fact 10. A dangerous weed rumor about North Korea often does the rounds. Reported by a number of 420-friendly publications like High Times and Mary Jane, it was an urban legend that despite all the other dystopian restrictions, the North Korean government is surprisingly chill about cannabis use, especially for tourists. While this is the kind of wacky North Korea that does numbers on the internet, it is something that might get you in prison or killed if you take it seriously. While cannabis is cultivated as an industrial production material in North Korea, cannabis is classified with the same drug restrictions as heroin and cocaine. And given the horrible fates undergone by tourists in North Korea, for something as seemingly minor as stealing a political poster, you really should not take your chances breaking any of their laws. Or better yet, just don't go there. Fact 9. Who has the world's cheapest and most expensive cannabis? In a study conducted in 2018, it was found that Japan had the world's most expensive grain, coming in at $32 per gram. If flying high in the land of the rising sun feels a little steep for your wallet, then you'd be better off vacationing in Quito, Ecuador, where the price of marijuana averages $1.34 per gram. Fact 8. Malaysia has some of the most brutal anti-drug laws in the world. Planting a single cannabis seed will put you in prison for the rest of your life. Being caught possessing 20 grams will get you lashed. 50 grams will get you 5 years in jail and a fine equating to almost $5,000. Up until 2018, having 200 grams of trafficking was sentenced to death. But now, it'll only put you behind bars for the rest of your life. Yay? Fact 7. Carl's Jr. once served a weed burger for $4.20. Seriously, back in 2019, as part of a special promotion for 420, they released the Rocky Mountain High Burger with a small quantity of CBD. It was at one of their locations in Colorado. In the area, it was a day to remember. Fact 6. Ever been curious about the actual difference between a spliff and a blunt, but been too afraid to look lame if you asked? The difference is actually pretty simple. Joints are small quantities of cannabis wrapped in rolling paper. Spliffs aren't pure cannabis. They're a mix of cannabis and tobacco in rolling paper. And blunts, if we can be blunt about it, are bigger loads of cannabis wrapped in cigar or blunt wraps, which normally also contain tobacco. Now, you're familiar with all the key weed smoking. Fact 5. One man had the guts to smoke weed in the White House while weed was still illegal everywhere in the United States. It was none other than country music god Willie Nelson, who during the Carter administration seized the White House and lit it up with the president's son, Chip Carter. It was thought to be a stoner urban legend for years until ex-President Jimmy Carter himself confirmed that the story was true. Rock on, Willie. Fact 4. Weed has been inspiring Hollywood. Stoner comedy is a movie institution, with stoned adventures being seen in Pineapple Express, Dude, Where's My Car, and the Harold and Kumar trilogy. But the first ever movie inspired by weed was 1936's Reefer Madness. But this wasn't a comedy, at least not intentionally. It was a propaganda movie that implied smoking weed would turn you into a violent psychopathic killer and lead your life to ruin. Ironically, a lot of people get high to watch. Has historically been overblown as part of government scare campaigns. There are some scientifically proven negative effects. These include increased heart rate, which has been recorded as lasting for up to 3 hours after the user smoked. Breathing problems, since putting any kind of smoke into your lungs is going to irritate your airways. Chronic weed users also experience the classic smoker's cough and experience unpleasant phlegm buildup that leads to them coughing up gross gunk. And then there's the vomiting, nausea, paranoia, and sometimes even hallucinations that we mentioned earlier. And in the long run, chronic cannabis users might find themselves struggling with sleep issues, as well as difficulty self-motivating. This won't be true for all users, but there's always a non-zero chance. Fact 2. You can actually experience weed withdrawals when trying to come off the stuff. While experiencing the negative side effects of quitting weed is actually quite rare and is nothing like coming off of harder drugs like heroin, there are a constant set of symptoms for those who do suffer from weed withdrawals. So what can you expect from experiencing weed withdrawals? The most common symptoms include reduced appetite, the opposite of the famous munchies, mood swings, and a general sense of irritability, difficulty sleeping, including insomnia and strange dreams, headaches, an inability to focus, food cravings, chills, and cold sweats, digestive issues, a general feeling of depression. That's why a lot of chronic users struggle to come off this stuff. And of course, fact 1. The U.S. Coast Guard seized 54 tons of marijuana in a single bus in 1977. The night train seizure occurred off the coast of Florida and was the beginning of Operation Stopgap, the first interagency initiative to stop drug trafficking. It was carried out by the Coast Guard, the DEA, and the federal marshals, and remains one of the biggest weed busts in history. It takes a couple of attempts, but you manage to spark up a lighter and hold it up steadily in front of your face to light up a joint. A familiar woody smell fills the room and drifts out of your window on the afternoon breeze. You blink, smell yourself, inhale deeply, and fill your lungs up with warmth. But what happens next? Chemically speaking, biologically speaking, what is it about this little green plant that gets millions of people around the world to flock to it? How long has humanity been consuming it? And what exactly is it doing inside your body, inside your mind? To start, let's have a look at the chemical composition of the cannabis plant itself, rolled up in a joint in your hand. Native to Central and South Asia, the cannabis plant today is so popular, it's now grown to be a global economy of its own. from small-scale rural farming operations all the way through to drug super labs, including any number of illegal weed farms somewhere in the middle. Experts believe that there are well over 700 different strains of cannabis currently on the market. This number seems only set to increase. Being able to identify which strain of weed you have in your hand can be very easy when buying from the legal dispensary. But if you live in a country or a state where marijuana is still criminalized, being able to verify exactly what it is you're smoking becomes more difficult. Looking down at the green mossy balls in your hand, do you know where in the world it's come from and what's inside it? Let's break it down a bit, or rather, grind it down. You've likely heard of the two most well-known active ingredients in cannabis. These are cannabidiol and tetrahydrocannabinol, or as you probably know them, CBD and THC. Over the last 10 years, in the West in particular, CBD has been championed as a potential medical breakthrough. It's also been shown to have a calming effect on those with anxious disorders and is currently being tested as a treatment for psychosis, sleep disorders, muscle spasticity, and more. You might have seen ads for CBD oil products popping up in your feed claiming that it can solve any number of ailments. Research is ongoing, however. Results vary. In the case of curing cancer, for example, so far there's no evidence to support that CBD has any kind of effect on the disease, despite what people on the internet may be saying. So, you smoke CBD to get high, right? No. CBD is usually extracted as an oil, and on its own it will not get you high. But it's still psychoactive, meaning it alters your mental state, typically leaving you feeling more calm and mellow. The feeling of being high comes from the main active component in marijuana, THC. Typically found in much greater quantities than CBD, THC can have a powerful psychoactive effect. To see what that means in practice, let's follow it as it enters the human body. You take in a deep breath and let the smoke fill your lungs. In this example, you're going to be a test subject, and you will be smoking weed. Smoking is one of the most direct and quickest ways to get high. This is because the smoke from your burning marijuana contains high levels of THC. The smoke is then inhaled, filling your lungs. At this point, you might experience some irritation, manifesting an iconic smoker's cough from introducing an alien substance into your lungs. This, however, is not unique to smoking weed, as you're likely to see the same from people smoking or vaping conventional tobacco. The lungs are designed to quickly and efficiently transfer oxygen into the bloodstream when we breathe. Therefore, they have the capacity to take in large quantities of gas in one breath and get any number of elements or compounds from that gas into our bloodstream, and fast. The lungs aren't just empty chambers, they're full of tiny little air pockets called alveoli. The average human adult has roughly 480 million alveoli in their lungs, constituting about 1,500 miles of airways. That's the equivalent of driving from Miami to New Hampshire for our American viewers, or Madrid to Copenhagen for our European viewers. For everyone else, it's roughly 13,636,363.6 bananas lying end to end. Anyway, back to your lungs. In each alveoli, the THC from the smoke is transferred directly into your bloodstream, which then carries it all over your body, including to the critical areas of your brain. As a result, it often only takes a matter of seconds for the user to start feeling the psychoactive effects of what they're smoking. So, let's crack your head open and see what's going on inside. Sorry, this might be a bitter. The THC is cells or receptors throughout your brain. The amygdala, for example, is responsible for anxiety, emotional responses, and fear. CBD lowers the activity in this part of the brain, but the THC component can stimulate it. While many users feel calmer after having smoked weed, others can feel a heightened sense of paranoia and worry, particularly on the once the calming effects of the CBD wear off. Looking at other parts of the brain impacted by the CBD, we have the basal ganglia, which is involved with motor control and planning, the neocortex, which processes sensory information, and the cerebellum, which is the center of motor control. All three of these areas are impacted by smoking weed, resulting in you feeling slower in general. Reflexes are delayed, information takes more time to process, and motor functions and speech slow down. Driving under the influence of marijuana can be very dangerous as a result. One study in the UK found that fatal accidents are 1.65 times more likely to occur when the subject is under the influence of marijuana, while another study in Canada found that accidents could be 2 to 4 times as likely. Most countries have strict laws for driving under the influence of weed, with zero-tolerance policies, made stricter by the fact that it can take over 48 hours for weed to stop showing up on a blood test. If they're testing your saliva, it can be up to 72 hours. Urine can be anywhere from 3 to 30 days, and it can even be tested in your hair follicles for up to 90 days. Unfortunately, you won't find many traffic cops that are plucking out your arm hair for a routine traffic stop. However, it would be reductive to think that all weed does is dull your brain. THC is a very active component that stimulates a lot of neural activity. Colors look brighter, sounds are louder, music sounds more rich and layered. Food often tastes better under the influence of THC, giving the subject the illusion that they're really hungry. That's right, this is why so many people using cannabis experience the famous munchies. This is why having a stoner visit your home is potentially extremely dangerous to the state of your snack pantry and chip supply. Many people report having heightened imagination, being able to think outside the box or come up with fresh and exciting ideas. Partaking in attempts to grab a lot of the negative sensations, such as feeling pain and anxiety, coupled with the stimulation from THC, results in feelings of euphoria. In short, you, our human test subject, have gotten high. So far, we've only focused on the THC and CBD. There are hundreds of active components within cannabis, which vary in quantity and intensity depending on the hundreds of strains the user is consuming. On top of that, there's the method of consumption. While smoking or vaping gets the chemicals into the bloodstream quickly, the high only lasts around 3 hours or so. Many users instead take gummies or bake brownies and cookies. When weed is absorbed through the digestive system, it takes a significantly longer time. Users can experience highs that go on for hours, even up to a day, as the digestive system slowly releases the chemicals into the bloodstream. All of this makes studying the effects of marijuana very difficult. As with almost any study, there are the caveats of which strain is being used, how the test subject is ingesting it, and who the test subject is. The human brain is an incredibly complex thing to do. If you take a sample of the human brain that was the size of just 1 grain of sand, that sample neurons and multiply that by 860,000, and you've got a human brain, just like the one that's sitting in your head watching this video. Being able to quantify and measure exactly what's happening in an organ far more advanced and complicated than the computers were studying it on has been a challenge in medical science for decades and has been for a very long time. While one individual might take one puff and spend the rest of the day feeling anxious, their elderly grandma might smoke a whole bowl and feel nothing but zen. So, for Nana's sake, is it dangerous? Well, on the whole, consuming marijuana is relatively harmless, as long as you aren't driving, controlling heavy machinery, or performing open heart surgery. The risks of smoking the occasional joint with the right amount of weed in it are low. So why hasn't it been legalized worldwide already? And why are there skeptics out there, including in the scientific community? As is often the case with controversial topics, a lot of the conflict comes from political and cultural differences. To tell that whole story, we need to wind all the way back to China in 2800 BC, where we find the first recorded use of marijuana in history. Even that long ago, the cannabis plant was being used for medicinal purposes, and was then known, considered by many to be the grandfather of medicine, recorded in his writings as being particularly useful. From that point, records of cannabis spread throughout India, Syria, Greece, and Rome. Various healing properties have been described.
What we got going on in the break room?
Cures for inflammation, depression, arthritis, and even asthma. Of course, most early medicine is notoriously rather unreliable. We're looking at you, leeches and milk transfusions, but there's always been something about this little green plant that's captured the attention of doctors and pharmacologists throughout the centuries. Often there's a grain of truth to the mythology that is sprung up around the drug. In Hinduism, for example, the god Shiva is given the title of Lord of Bhang because cannabis is his favorite food. For centuries, many Hindus believed that if you were suffering from a fever, it was the god's hot breath of anger upon you. Rituals were conducted where you would be given a quantity of cannabis to consume, so you would find favor with Shiva again, and your fever would pass. With modern medical science, we know that THC acts as a brain, reducing body temperature and therefore counteracting fever. Where did it all go wrong for Weed's PR team? Why do many people in the West include cannabis in the same conversation as crack, as opposed to paracetamol and penicillin? Well, medical marijuana was first introduced in the West in 1841 by William Brooke O'Shaughnessy, an Irish physician who spent years studying all kinds of different medicines in India. But the real origins of USA's problem with marijuana began 200 years before in the Jamestown colony in 1600. The assessment of the return on investment chained up the crop they produced to hemp, a plant within the cannabis family. The crop was a massive success and became the key to the early expansion of the American. George Washington himself famously grew hemp as one of his 3 primary crops on Mount Vernon. The plant was used to manufacture ropes and fabrics, but following William Brooke O'Shaughnessy's findings from India, Americans began to experiment with the plant's medicinal properties. The USA was still in relative infancy, with many laws and prohibitions being established. Drug laws at the time involved labeling products as being poisons, which restricted them to being legal only if prescribed by a pharmacist. Even then, the debate about cannabis varied from state to state, with some issuing it with the poison status and others believing it was exempt from these rules. And alongside them, a number of hashish products would smoke various forms of hemp and cannabis. In 1880, these establishments were seen as fashionable, with many of the upper classes frequenting them. It's estimated that there were roughly 500 parlors in New York City alone. The laws needed to be strengthened further still. Fraud and corruption were rife in the drug industry, with many falsely labeling their products for the sake of profit. The tighter that these restrictions got, the more people looked for loopholes. The government and the newly established Food and Drug Administration were pulling in different directions than a lot of the American public, who were looking to skirt prescriptions and drug laws in order to continue to get their highs. In the move to close the loopholes, cannabis was often grouped in with many of the much more addictive, much more harmful drugs that were plaguing the American population. The solution the American government came to was a zero-tolerance policy on recreational drug use, including the prohibition of alcohol and the criminalization of marijuana, which at the time they were spelling as an H. In 1971, President Nixon coined the term war on drugs, where he declared drug abuse the public enemy #1 of the American people. The approach was incarceration with an iron fist. Possession, distribution, and consumption of banned substances would result in jail time. It's estimated that throughout this war on drugs, the USA spends roughly $51 billion annually on its endeavor to clean up the streets. To illustrate, with that money, the USA could give each Canadian citizen $1,416.67 per year, just as a little thank you for being such lovely neighbors. Alternatively, they could give one lucky Canadian $1 a minute for 97,032 years. A large amount of this campaign against drugs has involved a level of fear-mongering. There's a lot of false information swirling around the world about the negative effects these drugs have. It rots the brain, causes psychosis. It's a gateway drug to stronger and more dangerous highs, and it is highly addictive. But is there any truth to any of these claims? Let's examine them one by one. Firstly, no, marijuana does not rot the brain. Rotting is the decay of dead organic material as bacteria and fungi consume it. That simply doesn't happen. However, psychosis is a much more contested field, with evidence for both sides of the argument. Firstly, what is psychosis? It's a term that is thrown around a lot, especially in the world of drug use, but very rarely defined. Meaning a lot of people have their own fears, worries, and prejudices to the world. Psychosis is when someone of the world around them that the brain is painting doesn't match up with the objective reality surrounding them. The two main symptoms of psychosis are hallucinations and delusions, and it's important to know the difference between the two. A hallucination is when a person experiences something that isn't actually happening. Most commonly, this takes the form of hearing voices that aren't really there, or sometimes seeing things that aren't really there. In some cases, people have reported smelling, feeling, and tasting their hallucinations too, such as tasting blood in their mouth despite there being none. A delusion, on the other hand, is more abstract. It could be the feeling that you're being followed, or that there's a conspiracy in your workplace to harm you. Delusional people are often highly susceptible to conspiracy theories, as often the paranoid messaging chimes with their fearful delusions that their minds have already been generating. So, does marijuana cause psychosis? It's complicated. Let's go back to the chemicals active in your brain. We're gonna need to crack that skull open again, sorry. THC is highly psychoactive. This is where the feeling of euphoria from being high comes from. While CBD can decrease the levels of panic and paranoia in the brain, it's often present in much smaller quantities than THC, mainly as many cannabis farms compete with one another to grow stronger and stronger strains. Couple that with the fact that there are hundreds of active compounds within the cannabis plant, and it goes back to our earlier point about this being a challenging area of study. Therefore, many scientists rely on quite broad studies, taking large sample sizes of drug users and non-drug users and comparing chemical brains over time, looking most notably at teenagers and young people. What they found is there is often a link between heavy pot smoking and psychosis. There are cases of people living with schizophrenia and bipolar disorders where the heavy use of marijuana is linked to the onset of those symptoms. What has not been proven, however, is that weed was the cause. Most scientists believe that weed can, in some cases, accelerate the development of underlying psychotic disorders. The brain is a very complex and delicate thing. If somebody has an underlying psychotic condition, then the consumption of drugs that alters their state of mind and heightens activities within certain sections of the brain can naturally lead to an exacerbation of those symptoms. Schizophrenia is believed to affect 1 in 300 people, while bipolar
Alright, hang on.
disorder
I gotta
affects
run to
1
the
in
bathroom
100.
right quick.
While these are
I
quite
will be
small
right back.
percentages, they are not insignificant. THC does carry the risk of triggering a psychotic episode if you're genetically predisposed to having a psychotic condition. The chances are very low and won't affect the majority of the population, but they are still there. Next, is it a gateway drug? The experience of a chemical buzz in the brain is a sensation that many of us try to chase in our lives. You get up and sing in a concert at your high school and you get a rush from it. You do it a second time and the high is worn off a bit. So you need a bigger crowd, and suddenly you're in a rock band on an arena tour. Chasing this type of bigger, better high is an experience we're sure many of you are familiar with. Studies have shown that in a minority of cases, the same can happen with marijuana. Usage of the drug can prime the brain, ready for more intense highs, which it then craves. This sounds bad until you realize the same thing happens with cigarettes and alcohol. Both of these demonstrate a similar connection to being a gateway drug to harder substances as marijuana. So why are those not held up to the same level of scrutiny? One thing studies have shown is that there is a much more powerful gateway drug out there: trauma. A difficult childhood, experiencing abuse, and going through acute pain and suffering are all far more likely to result in a person developing a dependence on hard substances. Weed is often a part of that journey, but in these cases it seems to be a symptom more than the cause of the problem. But is it addictive? Let's take a similar look at this question. You wake up one morning feeling tired, so you make yourself a cup of coffee. It clears away the fog, helps you focus on your job, and gives you a little endorphin rush from a good day's work. So the next day, you do the same, and the next, until one day you run out of coffee. You look in the jar and it's empty. A storm cloud gathers over your head. You go to work with a scowl, snap at your coworkers, have a headache by lunchtime, and come home feeling miserable. What's happened here? Well, the human brain is incredibly flexible. Your brain has gotten so used to the influx of caffeine each day that it's now rebalanced the chemicals inside itself to receive that caffeine boost. It's ready and it's waiting, so when the boost doesn't come, there's now a chemical imbalance. The same thing happens with weed. If you burn one down at 420, smoke weed every day, your brain's going to be sitting there at 419 rubbing its metaphorical hands together in anticipation. Coming off weed now feels hard. You have cravings for it, you feel irritated when you don't have it. You struggle to fall asleep, you lose your appetite, and you generally have a bad time. For about 2 weeks. Then you're likely back to normal. That's because what we've described here isn't an addiction, it's dependence. It's very common and can be broken fairly quickly. Up to 30% of weed smokers experience some level of dependence, and it can be overcome by just taking an extended break and giving your brain some rest. That said, there's a small risk of long-term addiction. People under the age of 18 have brains that are still developing. They're still growing and changing and adjusting to the world around them. Smoking weed regularly at this stage in your life could lead your brain to building itself around the expectation that it'll be receiving those chemical hits every day, which may start as a dependence and could grow to be much more deeply rooted and could result in a lifelong addiction. If there's one thing you learned from this video, it's that marijuana, much like life, is complicated. There may not always be a straight answer to every question. Anyone who tells you that something is totally amazing and has no downsides will always be lying. Even ice cream has downsides. What's important is looking at the big picture. Is weed the devil's leaf that spells the end of society as we know it? No, of course not. But neither is it a miracle cure-all drug that everyone should take on a daily basis. Weed, cannabis, the good kush, sweet Mary Jane. She's been around a long time, over 5,000 years in fact, and in that time the infamous drug has racked up some incredible stories and uses. How did this bud ignite a war? Why does India have a weed milkshake? And did you know that in the 1930s, they made an infamously bad propaganda film about how weed would turn you into a psychopathic killer? We're ganja tell you all this and more Welcome to the wild, wacky history of weed. Let's begin with the basics. What exactly is weed? Marijuana is a drug that comes from the cannabis plant, an ancient flora that's been used all over the world for centuries for its medicinal, spiritual, and agricultural properties. The latter is more commonly known as hemp. The seeds of the plant can be used for food. The oils and fibers produced by hemp can be made into clothing, paper, and ropes, which was very useful as those things were in high demand. And one plant could do it all. Now, we aren't really sure when exactly the cannabis plant popped out of the ground, since we weren't alive back then, unless there's a secret immortal hiding away the truth. And if you're an immortal watching this, please let us know in the comments. We know it's incredibly old, that much is certain. Lucky for us, there are scientists dedicated to finding out the answers. They haven't found all of them yet, but we hear they're still looking. So for the sake of brevity, let's keep this to weed's history with the human race. Our first stop on this dank adventure brings us to China. Cannabis sativa, weed's maiden name, had been established as a useful farming crop in this region due to its fast-growing nature and ability to produce textiles, fiber, and grain. Around 2700 BC, legendary Chinese Emperor Shen Nong, whose name means divine farmer or divine husbandman, reportedly discovered the health benefits of the plant, using it to treat a variety of ailments which were cataloged in a book known by many names. Still, his friends call it Pen Sao Ching, the divine husbandman's materia medica. The emperor earned a new title thanks to his teachings, now considered the father of Chinese medicine. Most of us are lucky if we get one cool title in our life. Good old Emperor Shen Nong couldn't get enough. How MJ became global after its debut is likely thanks to the infamous ancient trading route, the Silk Road, or Silk Route. This 4,000-mile journey between China and Europe is believed to be the key in how cannabis spread its leafy wings and took people higher, quite literally, as one of the travel paths merchants took up into the Pamir Mountains. These mountains contain Jerzan Cemetery, an ancient burial site that would unknowingly shine a light on some massive weed mysteries. Approximately 2,500 years later, these tombs were excavated, and you'll never guess what they found. That's right, bones! Bones that were carbon dated to about 500 BC. But buried with the bones were wooden burners that would burn a special plant. Can you guess which one? It was cannabis sativa, and if you guessed that, feel free to take any prize from the middle shelf. Historians and archaeologists have extrapolated that ancient mourners in this area would add cannabis seeds to the hot stones and inhale smoke while burying the deceased or visiting. The oldest known evidence of humans smoking the herb. We told you this stuff was old school. They don't call it the OG Kush for nothing. Whether ritualistic or to simply hide the rotting stench of the corpses with its distinctive smell, the cannabis found in those braziers was unique when compared to previously found specimens. It contained a high level of tetrahydrocannabinol. Now, for those of us who can't afford $5 words, THC. The psychoactive chemical is what stimulates the brain and allows one to enter a higher plane while smoking a bowl, metaphorically speaking. In 440 BC, Greek historian Herodotus was traveling the world. Around this time, his travels led him to meet the Scythians, a fierce nomadic tribe that originated from what's now known as Siberia, but spread across Central Asia from 900 BC until 200 BC. Herodotus reported that the warriors would build weed saunas, using tents and hot rocks to inhale the fumes, which made the Scythians cry out in ecstasy. So we have anecdotal evidence that we can thank the Scythians for the original hot box. Weed has been a consistent part of many rituals, ceremonies, and festivals for centuries. In India, bhang is made from the cannabis plant and has deep religious ties to the Hindu god Shiva. Some mythological accounts speak of bhang being Lord Shiva's favorite offering, and the Hindu god is often depicted with the substance in portraits. Since the 5th century, bhang has been consumed at the iconic celebrations Holi and Mahashivratri, where it's typically infused in traditional drinks like lassi and tandai. And in case you weren't aware, tandai is a cold, milky beverage. That's right, a weed milkshake. As time went on, cannabis became prominent in Asia, Africa, and Europe, sailing across the seas, which was convenient as hemp was widely used for ships' rigging and sails. And did we already mention rope? Hemp became popular among the white settlers of the Americas in the mid-1600s for agricultural use in the colonies. Did you know that the first president of the United States, George Washington, grew his own hemp crop at Mount Vernon? Well, now you do. In 1833, an Irish physician named Dr. William Brooke O'Shaughnessy came to India, where he would spend many years researching the medical benefits after noting the locals using bhang as a remedy. O'Shaughnessy believed cannabis was an untapped medical resource for Western medicine. He used the plant in an attempt to cure patients suffering from illnesses like rheumatism and cholera. His experiments concluded that cannabis wasn't a cure, but could be used as part of the treatment. O'Shaughnessy also claimed cannabis to be anti-convulsive medication, reportedly using it to stop seizures of a baby and ease the tremors in tetanus patients. Enter cannabis indicate. Cannabis indica was a new strain of cannabinoid, getting the nickname Indian hemp, or more famously ganja. New year, new weed. This strain was noted to have added relaxation effects with a side effect of increased delirium.
Everyone's been telling me I needed to look at this.
All right.
I can't even believe
What are you doing?
what I am hearing just from the vibes around it. Apparently, Stephen A. Smith, this supposedly centrist-based guy that's very cool about things and level-headed, is defending Carmelo Anthony, the murderer. What is with the left and the infinite appeasements of criminals, rapists, and killers? I don't even know what to say. It's like for some people, you can be as based and level-headed as you want, and then all of a sudden, a triangle takes it. Bam! Bam, it's Africa, you know? Like, well, what am I even supposed to say? All right, so I'm getting worked up. I didn't even see the thing yet. Everyone told me I needed to see this. All right, let's go. Before getting too deep into the chaos, free cash was promised to me 3,000 years ago. One thing I recently added to my daily routine is using free cash for a few minutes here and there. If I'm going to play games as a time sponge, I might as well make some money out of it. Free cash is a fun and easy way to earn real money by doing simple tasks while already on your phone. Play games. Complete surveys, do simple tasks, and turn your bathroom break into an investment. I been enjoying playing all the ground. A high payout strategy-based building game. You get instant payouts with a really easy process through PayPal, Amazon, or Visa. There's already over $250 million paid out to over 60 million users worldwide. It's a win-win. They get someone to test out their games and fill out their surveys, and you get paid. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up and get a $10 bonus today. Now back to the chaos. Every individual sign up literally supports the channel, so if you can click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated.
It's a comment on this.
Stephen A. Smith took the left by surprise when he came out and made this statement.
We're in a situation that you simply can't get around. Carmelo Anthony murdered Austin Metcalf.
Okay.
Just because you're black.
Put him to death. Alright, he killed the guy? Dead. I'm really tired of this shit.
Young with challenges that black folks face every single day doesn't give you a license to murder someone.
As reasonable as this
Right,
sounds,
that sounds good.
it starts to get
Wait, I was hold up. People were really hyping me. People were like, oh, ran down. Like, no, there's no way he would. Alright, so far so good.
As he goes on, he believes 35 years is too much for anyone to get for murder.
Are you fucking serious? Why are they like this? Why are they like this?
I don't understand. That doesn't make sense to me.
Let me state for the record and get this out the way right now. I am not happy that Carmelo Anthony got sentenced to 35 years.
I'm not happy that Austin Metcalf was stabbed to death. Dude, it is impossible to make believe these are normal people. Again, how could you possibly think this is a normal guy? Yeah, I'm also unhappy he was given 35 years. They should have publicly executed him. Right, the moment he was given the guilty verdict, they should have taken him out back and executed him promptly. I think a swift decapitation would have sufficed, and then they could have figured shit out. Alright, in my ideal society, alright, you get a actual court decided guilty on first-degree murder. You don't wait, you don't delay. Judge smacks the gavel on the table. You take the guy out back and you put him out of his misery. The end. Period. All right. Now Carmelo Anthony's butthole is going to be a four-lane parkway, and I bet you he'll come out of jail in 35 years and hurt somebody else. What I'm saying is not just moral; it is logical, and it is also biblical. Someone that takes a man's life should have his life taken in return. God thought so. It is wild watching the moralizing, and again, I'm not trying to be rude here or racist or anything. It's only coming from black people. I don't understand. It's like the tribalism just kicks in. If this was a white guy stabbing a black guy in a racially motivated shit, that dude would be buried under the jail. All right? I don't even understand what's going on here.
I've heard people...
Oh, and they would light our country on fire.
In the legal space claim that he's not going to serve 35 years. By the time he gets out, he will be younger than I am right now.
18 jurors, about 6 minorities, none of whom happen to be black. I don't believe that.
Jury of your peers does not mean they have to be the same race as you. I love how this guy believes that it's murder. Stephen A. Smith started off by saying it's murder, he killed the guy. So why do you want a different jury? Literally, anyone that you would put on you want just, I mean, I know the answer, obviously. You wanted black people to be on the jury so they could lie, so that he can get off, so that the murderer could walk free. That's basically what he wanted. All right, let's understand exactly what he wants. He believes that if you put black people there, they will see with their super black person eyes, and all of a sudden, because of tribalist bullshit, they would be able to get him out. All right, now, again, I don't believe most black people would do that. I think the blacktivists would do that, but your average black guy wants this guy in jail forever. I refuse to believe it's basic sentiment among the black community that, yeah, actually killing white people should be legal. I think it's only like a small minority, like 30%. I'm kidding, I'm joking.
That's being judged by a jury of your peers. Here's the reality, though. That's all I can say.
Who fucking cares what color the people were on the jury? You agree it was murder. They agree it was murder. What, you wanted different people on the jury so that they could lie? Yes, that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted this murderer to get off.
I would give in.
He just can't really say it out loud because he knows how fucking retarded it sounds.
Anything.
Bro just wants killing white people to be lesser of a crime than killing black people. You know, last time I said this, I had people really coming for me. People on Twitter were really upset with me for saying that. But I would like to hear another alternative.
To be able to say something definitively in Carmelo Anthony's defense.
Why? Why is that
Why?
a desire
He's a murderer.
that you have so deeply that you would give
Because of tribalism?
anything for? Why do you feel the obligation to come to the defense of one person over the other? Which is what you are insinuating. And it's only going to get stranger.
Anybody with an incident like this is going to want to hear from Representative Jasmine Crockett. Take a listen.
I wouldn't. I don't want to hear from her. She's retarded.
This wasn't someone who said, hey, let me stab you 5, 6, 7 times. And so when you're looking at the
he only stabbed him once in the heart and killed him, so therefore
punishment range, there's a reason in Texas that it goes from 5 to 99 or life, because you are looking at how intentional, like how bad was this?
He said, touch me and see what happens, and then he touched him, and then he stabbed him in the heart. That is obviously premeditated, first-degree murder. And you know who agrees with me? The whole jury. And juries are retarded.
Notice she does not mention at all the fact that he stabbed someone.
35 years for a kid who had decided to go under a tent that was not his team's tent as it was raining.
It was raining outside.
He would have gotten wet. How would you have felt if Carmelo Anthony had gotten wet?
Did that happen somewhere in between the whole wanted to get out of the rain and going to jail?
She makes it sound like he was just trying to get out of the rain.
The fact that there was little to no mercy seen.
Executing this man, all right? Because human life is so valuable. It is so beautiful, precious, and important that a murderer needs to die because he took a life. And his life needs to be taken in return, all right? Since human life is important, we need to execute killers.
When this black boy said that I was scared.
He's a black boy. He said he was scared in court after he murdered a guy. He murders the guy and then he's scared. So we should just let him off. What the actual fuck are we even talking about? I mean, these are not serious people. I don't even understand how they exist in our political sphere. This doesn't make sense.
This is how she brings in race then. Why?
Or the fact that honestly.
Why? Because she wants it to be legal to kill white people.
Honestly, anybody else who did something with such a small object.
Notice.
A little tiny object, a knife that he stabbed someone in the heart with and killed him.
She just said he did something. She doesn't even say knife, she says object.
All I know is that it wasn't considered unlawful carrying of a weapon because the blade.
Oh, it was lawful carrying and then stabbing a guy in the heart.
Was not long enough.
A black kid did something, trying to get out of the rain. That's all I get from what she said.
Everybody has a point.
No. The blacktivist community that's saying this shit because they want to legalize the murder of white people actually don't have a point and should not be accepted in civilized society. Anyone who has that position, I'm not a force. I just like staying alive, and I pick my losing my life every day. So the reality is, whether you're white or black, if you decide that you want to defend Carmelo excised from public life, you should be fired from your job. I don't know what's canceling you. You obviously want to legalize killing white people, and I don't think that's right. shit if he's from the Romulus tribe and he killed someone in the Klingon tribe. That shit doesn't fucking matter to me. He's a murderer, and now he needs to die. Period. The end. You disagree? You should probably be excised from public life.
Hybrids absolute woo.
What's up?
Why is this kid executed? Right? Why is he still alive?
Is he a black person on that jury?
I don't care. Again, the reason why there was no black person on that jury was for two reasons. One, the lawyers struck them out. You know, you get 3 strikes to strike out.
Hybrids absolute. I just woke up.
Actual prosecutors struck out the 3 black people. Very intelligent of him, because it turns out tribalism does exist, and it doesn't.
I'm really getting sick of them plague spitters.
Will still run to defend him. All right, that's one. So base lawyer for kicking out the black people. Based racism, I have to say, it worked in his favor this time, as it often does, and also is because they are in a majority white district.
Hybrids absolute. What I miss.
Not that I'm trying to get. I've just been doing quests. That's it. God damn fucking bees.
If they are black. Anyone who's not black, according to your logic, is not a peer.
Asians? Native Americans? Hispanics? What?
They literally said, like, it was one Mediterranean guy and it was a couple of Middle Eastern people. Like, they literally had the exact ethnic composition of the jury.
See any black people on that jury?
Based. Why take the chance?
That's about it.
You agree it's murder. Why are you complaining?
Carmelo Anthony has no hat to hang on.
So make no mistake here.
Okay, so he's a murderer and he should die. But anyway, I'm going to defend him.
Still defending Carmelo Anthony here.
Why wasn't this criminally negligent homicide as opposed to first-degree murder?
Because he said, touch me and see what happens, clearly indicating premeditation.
Oh my God!
After he got touched. Now, touching is not violent. That offense is warranted to murder somebody. And he said, touch me and see what happens, implying premeditation. And you know who else thought so? The entire jury, who saw the evidence.
So many times we look at certain situations and we ask ourselves, why do we continue to go through this? Because the system is against us. This
is a murderer.
Argument. This ain't the time to make that argument.
And yet, he goes on just a moment later to make that argument.
The time to make the argument about the flagrant unfairness of the system, meaning the charges that were levied against him, there should have been a lot more noise.
Then he goes on to say this.
So when you see people out there and they're making a whole bunch of noise and they're going off as if the system has done some grave injustice, they're still talking about the guy that's alive with a 35, albeit with a 35-year sentence.
He's just jumping back and forth between these two.
Weird. It's like, on the one hand, he knows, based on his, being an American human being, he should fucking go to jail forever or die. Right? And then on the other side, he has that, I don't know, is he trying to appeal to the blacktivist community? Is he himself just tribalist in that regard? Being black regardless of what they do? It's insane.
Have you ever wondered how politicians...
If you think about it, it's so fucked up. And we as a society are not nearly angry enough about the fact that there seems to be just a lot of people that want to legalize murdering whites. I don't know. It seems pretty fucked up to me.
Son, that's never going to see his son again.
Then he points at a young black conservative, looks at his response, and goes in on him.
Jeffrey Meade, I think he's a conservative voice. I see him online sometimes. He had a response to all of that. I want you to listen to this.
You need to be ashamed. You need to be ashamed. Because that's one of y'all that was in there.
Notice what it was about. She said, you guys ought to be ashamed because that was one of y'all's that was in there. Meaning the black law enforcement officers ought to be ashamed because a black boy was just convicted of murder after he stabbed somebody through the heart and killed them. They're siding with Carmelo Anthony simply because he's black.
He's
Oh my God! Get off the tree!
Remove their ability for critical thinking and reason in banding together by tribe based on race. You're the same race as me, therefore I'm going to blindly take your side, regardless of what the logic indicate.
It was about the fact that they're black, he's black. That means you should be on his side, and you shouldn't be helping enforcing any laws around this place. This is why you see black people, in many cases around the country, losing their mind right now, because they're automatically siding with Carmelo Anthony because he's black.
That's a
correct. This dude's awesome. I didn't know he was around before either. I didn't know he. But completely correct. Absolutely correct.
Bad thing, no matter how you want to cut it.
This is one of our problems because when you're this pro-black, no matter what, it hijacks your ability to reason.
Pointing that out is not wrong.
He's right.
Yet, Stephen A. Smith goes on to claim it is.
I mean, I would go a step further, and I think that all these people that are screaming about it, they actually just want to legalize murdering white people. All right, a lot of people don't want to take that extra step that I have. I've been called out by homosexuals, flagrant homosexuals, very upset at me for saying that that's obviously what they're doing when they are protesting on behalf of a murderer.
Jeffrey Mead, I believe that's your name. Before I say anything in direct response to what you just articulated, I don't know you. I think you're conservative or whatever.
Hybrids absolute. How you and the cat sleep last night?
Oh, we slept all right. Buddy's taking a nap right next to me.
He pauses for like 47 minutes.
Shojo's in the bathroom.
What are you doing?
Napping in the sun.
Who the fuck are you? You're just a guy with a podcast.
And that's fine.
Get over yourself.
I would ask you to be a little bit more sensitive.
Please be sensitive to the murderer. Please be sensitive. These black folks.
No, he fucking went to that fucking game to stab somebody.
The murder of whites. And who are you?
And you're not going to convince me different.
For defending a murderer. Be a little more sensitive.
He brought the knife. He had his hand on the knife while he threatened.
Okay, what did he just say that is insensitive?
I will not engage with any of your talking points, but I will call you insensitive.
If what he just said is problematic and that's too insensitive, we're doomed.
Yeah.
As black people, let's stop talking as if black.
We are black. We should be on the same side. You are literally doing the thing he was describing.
Black people have never suffered in this country.
Slavery was here 300 years ago, so therefore murdering white people should be legal. I'm telling you, man. I'm trying to figure out another way to spin this. This is a murderer. Why is everyone like jumping? I mean, we know why. Why is everyone jumping hand over heel trying to defend this guy?
That we don't have a reason to be suspect and to raise the proverbial eyebrow.
Suspect? He murdered a guy. He murdered a guy in front of like 30 witnesses. He admitted it to the cops. There's footage of it happening. Well, what are we doing? And they suspected the black man. Yeah, he did it. He actually did it. All right, well, what are we doing here? This is not the time. Right, first of all, I think there's no systemic racism in this country anymore. Sure, some people are racist individually. If you know, obviously people saw the Arena Zaruska video. But on a systemic level, there is no systemic racism. It's not real. You don't have more black people arrested than white people compared to the amounts of crimes that are committed. All right? Ultimately, over-policing is not a real thing. In fact, it's not even a real word. How the fuck do you over-police? Over-policing is when you arrest 11 out of the 10 murderers? No. Over-policing just means you actually pay attention to who kills and who goes to jail. They over-police black neighborhoods. Who are they arresting? Are they arresting people for just standing there? They're not, okay? It's literally lies on top of lies.
You can raise the proverbial eyebrow all you want, but don't blind yourself to objective reasoning.
You were not Carmelo Anthony.
In facts, this has nothing to do with that.
See, one of the things that black conservatives are going to have to come to a realization about is that the manner in which you communicate and you present yourself and the arguments that you make sometimes emanate from your own thinking.
Why is what we just listened to categorized?
Dude, stop with the understand. Just stop with the victim shit. Okay, listen, you want to hear a really funny statistic? Black people in the United States of America are the richest group of black people anywhere in any country on the planet. All right? But again, stop with the victim shit. We had a black president. God damn it. We had a black gay president. Barack Hussein Obama. Gay Muslim president. We already had one. All right, stop it. It's over. You're not victims of society. Shut the fuck up. Figure shit out. Get married. Have children. Don't go to jail. Stay at home. Get a job. Work hard, and things will go well. Oh, I had to steal makeup from the CVS because of victimhood and slavery. No. It's because you don't have a dad. And you were raised in a society to think that, well, I'm a victim. I can murder white people. So here you have this conservative black guy who seems based as fuck who says, yo, actually, we have to stop this tribalism bullshit. This is a murderer. And you're like, you only stand back from your own victimhood.
As being a black conservative. That's just being rational. What does any of this have to do with black conservatives?
Well, because black liberals are irrational. Just like all liberals are irrational. No, it's not a race thing, it's an ideology thing. If you're a liberal, you're not a rational person inherently. You inherently believe that patriarchy should be dismantled, which is, again, completely retarded, because the only way to dismantle a patriarchy is with patriarchy. Because ultimately you need force, and force is monopolized by men. So therefore, you need a patriarchy to dismantle a patriarchy. Do you get the paradox? Liberalism is an irrational position. Liberalism is why 250,000 British girls were raped by Pakistani Muslims, and the media shut up about it because of liberalism. All right, liberalism is cancer.
Or liberals, or people with liberal or left-leaning thinking.
So retards. You're saying retards.
Because of the manner in which you're talked about as a conservative. I get it. I don't think you deserve it.
So he's being rational as a result of his own subconscious victimhood.
Yeah.
Okay.
We know I've been called sellout, coon, all of this other stuff. The second I disagree with black folks, I get it. Part of the reason you come at black folks is because they've done it to you.
Or maybe you're coming at him because he's a murderer. All right, listen, man, I don't come for Jeffrey Epstein because Jeffrey Epstein is Jewish and I have some sort of inherent victim complex or some shit. No, I do it because he was a monstrous pedophile. All right, that's why I come for Jeffrey Epstein. I don't see any Jewish activists going out there protesting for Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Or because that guy was fucking horrible. He was a monster. Right? The sentiment, however, seems to be in, let's just say, small subsets of black society that Carmelo Anthony should not have gone to prison because murdering white people should actually be legal because of oppression or something.
Had me at the beginning, but then...
Let's just be sensitive to that. In the same breath, being sensitive to that lets everybody understand. Jeffrey Mead had points that are valid.
What the fuck? What the fuck am I listening to that? You're insensitive? How could you say that it's victim complex? But your points were valid. What the fuck are we... Dude, these people are so fucking cooked. Is this discourse on the left right now? Is victimhood Olympics? Always has been. Always has been.
Come on! Open the door!
Stand up, partners. The store is open for business, and we're fixing to show y'all a good old time. Good. Well, now you can strut sitting down.
Now,
Good
this is
job.
a long-standing take that I've had, and a lot of people disagree with me on this one. For some reason, I think that everything wrong with Western
Vehicles,
civilization
gadgets,
could
gizmos.
be stemmed back to feminism. Literally all of it. I think it's people that have played on the heartstrings of forgiving and kind Christian civilization in order to basically manipulate people into discarding the word of God for some sort of more enlightened, empathetic belief system, and that is the root of all of the things, all of them. The degeneracy, the scams, the immigration, all of the issues I think could be trailed right back to this. And unfortunately for me, and society, I keep getting proven correct.
So basically, Meta is laying off more people. Today, we reduced headcount by 22%. The Meta...
Wow, I can't believe that.
Layoffs are some of the most dystopian things I've ever seen. Unpopular opinion.
All these ridiculously B words that are unfortunately everywhere now, and for some reason we just have to tolerate them.
That's a good choice you made right there.
You don't have to dress corporate to be professional. So this is her. I guess she got.
This is the downward spiral of civilization. Yeah, that's right. I could be a tech worker.
Getting your
hands
hands dirty. Don't squat on your spurs.
So she showed
You'll
up
do
to work
well.
looking like this. Anyway, so this is what happened. Asha, as previously shared, we've decided to reduce headcount as part of our continued effort to run the company more efficiently and allow us to offset other investments we're making. Unfortunately, your role has been eliminated as a part of today's reorganization. This is you got laid off.
You should have quit.
Yeah?
Free, like I can finally for the last 4 years. Gave all of my promotions to you.
Motherfucker!
In Silicon Valley. I got laid off.
I'm sure that's going to go really well for you. This is the CEO.
Bro, these people are literally gaslit by the system to think that they're all Captain. I'm not even kidding. Every single get completely and utterly gaslit into thinking that they will truly.
Why won't they give me any honey? God damn!
Hofluencer. All right, and people are falling for this. It's crazy.
Oh, that fired the HR team a couple days ago? Oh, shit. He's explaining it.
We got rid of our HR team.
Why?
They had an HR team. That HR team was creating
That's
problems.
right. That's right. That's right. Man, I'm so glad we've incorporated women into the workforce on such a massive scale that they are literally like, we need an entire woman workforce to enforce the woman workforce and basically shut down all actual progress to be made because they're too busy having meetings to decide on when they will have more meetings. Essentially, the nagging has gotten to such an insane degree.
That didn't exist. And those
They have to invent problems. They invent problems, and then they have to invent schemes and policies to stop the problems that don't exist.
Problems disappeared when I let them go.
Every single
It's perfect. Everything that I've ever wanted to hear.
company in Silicon Valley is full of worthless DEI. This guy, believe it or not, follows me.
My coworkers keep saying I need to make it like a tech TikTok, because if you look at my TikTok, you'd never guess I have a job. Anyways, this is our current workstation.
Not a good sign.
Callie and I are what you call product managers.
In other words, useless.
Callie, what is your team?
When they are literally inventing useless jobs to make sure that women can't actually get married and be home and take care of their children. It's so fucking sad.
Over. My team is over reporting and internal tools. And I am over
Useless, nothing burger job.
for what we call card experience. We help prioritize and help the engineers stay on track and help them know what to do.
Oh,
They do fucking nothing.
we help the engineers stay on track.
They're just nagging. They're like, hey, I have a job for you. You're going to be nagging men all day. And you're like, oh boy, my calling.
Whenever you're helping them stay on track, they're thinking, thank you so much, Samantha.
Yeah, exactly.
How?
So you might have
How?
engineers actually do the developing, the coding. Product managers,
Well, this is literally live-hard dystopia. Idiots to be the tech managers. You hired two completely useless college live-hard graduates.
Fucking goddamn birds.
Then you just fuck all of society.
essentially decide what the team's going to work on, do competitive research, keep everyone focused, motivated, and
Basically just have endless meetings.
driving towards business outcomes.
Driving towards business outcomes.
That's what we do. We work from home.
Nothing. We work from home!
Which means you work from the internet. So this is our office today. I hope all you coworkers are happy.
And aren't you happy that people now exist?
Those problems disappeared when I let them go.
That's right. No, so basically, the surprise of literally no one. So this is a video that I think has probably the greatest title and thumbnail on all of YouTube. It's made by a friend of mine. Think before you sleep. This guy is an absolute goat. All right, so I already opened this video, so you'll see the red bar. I didn't watch it yet. Florida woman goes to the dentist, and the thumbnail is just a screenshot of a Florida woman in a dentist office, a police officer. And literally the entire story is already told. You know exactly where this is going. It's insane! Like, I didn't see this yet, but I was told it's cinema. Before getting too deep into the chaos, free cash was promised to me 3,000 years ago. One thing I recently added to my daily routine is using free cash for a few minutes here and there. If I'm gonna play games with the time sponge, I might as well make some money out of it. Free cash is a fun and easy way to earn real money by doing simple tasks while already on your phone. Play games. Complete simple tasks and turn your bathroom break into an investment. I really enjoy playing Call the Dragon on free cash. A high payout strategy-based building game. You get instant payouts with a really easy process through PayPal, Amazon, or Visa. There's already over $250 million paid out to over 60 million users worldwide. It's a win-win. They get someone to test out their games and fill out their surveys, and you get paid. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up and get a $10 bonus today. Now back to the chaos. Every individual sign up literally supports the channel. So if you can click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated.
So what's going on? So they called the cops. They have the cops here now.
Yeah, we know where this is going.
Hang it back.
What the fuck just happened? I pushed the button on my keyboard.
Sorry, what's going on? So they called the cops. They have the cops here now. So what's the issue? The issue is all I want is documents that happened today so that I can take it and I can get the work done and I can get it done. You heard what she said, right? You can get it later. I told her to mail them to her address because they don't have an address. And I asked her to write it down.
It doesn't have an address.
Pick up the phone. This person's not a part of it. Okay. All right. So you're gonna have to leave the property now. You come back here and cause more issues. We're gonna have a bigger issue. Okay. They do not have the documents ready for you right now, and that's the end of it.
Okay, so we have a routine visit to the dentist office where the police had to be called because the suspect, suspect is probably the correct word. So the police were called because the suspect is mad that they wanted to mail her paperwork to her.
Because they don't have an address or a place to send it to. That's the like that. Can you give her one? Why? They already told me. I have to leave the premises right now.
If you want them sent to you, then give them the address. It's very simple.
Yeah, this seems so easy. If you pay close attention, you can even hear that whoever's talking to her on the phone agrees with the police. Now, to clarify, I think initially the dentist...
Whoa, it's so bad! It's so bad, dude. All of society is crumbling because of the Karens are destroying society. All right, let's take a look at what our leaders have to say about this. All right, so we have Zora Mamdani praying. Cool. We have AOC in a hijab. All right. We have AOC and Zora Mamdani fighting the patriarchy. I'm really glad that the people in charge are really worried about the actual issues.
Just wanted to mail the paperwork to her instead of giving it to her in person that day because she was being a pain in the ass and they didn't want her on the property longer than necessary, and they also didn't want her coming back to pick it up when they finished it.
Well, it's gonna take me a minute to do it, and the way she was acting, I couldn't have her. If you guys are sitting here with her, I'll do it. I don't care.
She's gonna prison that brain.
She doesn't want to sit with the cops, that's for sure.
The greatest description I've ever heard.
No, I
We're
would.
gonna wait outside and she's gonna print it up while we're here.
I thought she just said that they could. Yes, Daddy.
Okay, now I'm engaged. So this is like a prostitute. Thanks, Boondocks. Many life lessons learned from that show.
Hybrids Absolute, how's the survival going?
Medical documents at the dentist.
It's going pretty good so far.
Is because recently the topic of culture has come up a lot in social media discussion. Many people have realized that the reason that
I don't think people understand the fact that we're winning so much. People are so fucking blind to the amount of winning that's happening. Cultural victory after cultural victory. The fact that these discussions are being had is such an unbelievable win. People don't remember what 2020 was like. Every mayor in every city kneeling and praying to St. George Fentanyl Floyd. You know, blessed be his fent. All right, you do not remember the level of retards that we had to deal with. All right, like, dude, we are winning on an unfathomable level, and you have to stop blackpilling.
Regular people have to live with all these restrictions and limitations is because of an actually quite small group of people who are screwing it up for everyone else.
Yeah.
For example, this story has been going around on Twitter. Some doctors and engineers decided to go to the Ichikawa Zoo in Japan where that famous monkey punches. When they got there, they jumped into an enclosure to promote some stupid crypto coin. Because of
Wait, was it happening again?
those two guys, the zoo had to install a net to prevent that from happening again, and now we can't see monkeys at the zoo. Wait, no, I'm gonna leave that in, it's fine. So when it comes to a person like this who can't handle a simple activity like waiting for some documents without causing a scene, know that these are the people that we have to focus on to fix a vast majority of society's problems.
Are you gonna wait for the documents or not? Hello?
Oh my god. You alright?
Can you listen for 1 second? She said it was going to take a few minutes. The way you were acting, they didn't want to do it while you were here. But now that we're here, they'll do it while we wait outside with you. Okay? They don't. You know what? If you have a job.
When we came back.
Yeah, and then the 5 words that could destroy every libtard. Do you have a job?
Left, so we thought you left. No, I left to go for a walk so I can calm down.
Hybrids Absolute, I'm downloading a game called Warhammer Space Marine 2.
I just told you to wait outside, and you. That's what I was doing outside.
I haven't played a Warhammer game in
I'll go for another walk. Okay, don't
in years, man.
I don't need to be walking around everywhere. I need to find where you're at so we can just see the documents. And Farrell will be just another minute. Documents are done, and I can go for a walk until then. I don't understand why it's a problem for me to just step outside and go for a walk.
I already have a headache. They asked her to leave and she wants
like this?
to stay. Now they're asking her to stay and she wants to leave. Literally.
Lord, give my pimp hand the strength required to fucking teach this bitch a lesson. No, I'm kidding, obviously. I would never call for violence or anything.
Being a pain in the ass.
Hybrids Absolute, have you heard of it?
Right? She's got a dad-shaped hole in her heart.
I've heard as a space marine. I think I heard Asmongold talking about it.
Bro, society without dads.
It's just because. Normally, I would use this term for marketing, but my friends and I like to call these kinds of people high-friction individuals. The reason being that ideally, when you try to sell something in a business, you try to reduce the number of actions that a person has to take to buy your product. Doing that increases the likelihood that customers will make a purchase, like Amazon's one-click buys. It's easy for a reason. To put it simply, the number of actions that you have to take to do something is called friction. And usually, when you're trying to improve your life, one of the most effective ways of doing that is to reduce friction or reduce the number of actions that it takes to accomplish things that are good for you. However, the mentally ill love increasing friction and adding roadblocks to everyday activities. Think of a show like Hoarders, where walking to the front door is almost an impossible task. I swear I watched an episode where a woman had to use her neighbor's toilet because her house was so full of junk that she couldn't use her own bathroom. That's high friction. So understand the amount of roadblocks that this streetwalker is putting everyone through just to get some pieces of paper from the dentist.
Okay, you're making it bigger. I'm not trying to make an issue. I'm not trying to make a problem. I'm just, why can't I go for a walk until this is done?
Bro, she needed a dad.
Like,
we are literally stunting a generation, turning a generation of people into completely, socially unacceptable whores and retards just because of the dad crisis. All right, because for some reason everyone needs to get divorced for some reason.
Okay. So can I go for a walk until it's done? No, stay here, or we're gonna be trespassing you from here. Okay? Why? Just stay here. Just stay here. They're getting the papers. I'm not gonna babysit. You don't have to babysit. I said I would come back in a little bit when it's done.
Oh my God!
Sit
down! Oh my God!
Just stay here. I don't want to do that.
This girl is the queen of unnecessary roadblocks. To clarify and reiterate, in case you forgot context, the original plan was to mail the documents to her. However, because the police are there and in order to reduce friction so they don't have to deal with her anymore, the dentist office has decided to ready the paperwork for her immediately. But instead of the suspect saying, okay, well, I'll just wait 5 minutes, she decides to overcomplicate everything by saying that she wants to go for a walk until the documents are ready, which is, of course...
I'm saying a woman marrying a man and then being married and having children with a woman and the man working and the woman raising the children to be good people, and then the woman growing up and, becoming 20 and getting married to a man, and then they raise their children, is actually just a cure to like 99% of problems in civilization. I'm not even exaggerating. The most basic bitch aspects of life are just actually fucking awesome and biblical. And society, for some reason, decided, no, we need to ruin that because we hate God.
Pissing off the officer because she doesn't want to waste police resources by waiting for some undetermined amount of time for the suspect to come back. Like, God, this chick's behavior is annoying. It's like having to type in my credit card number every time I want to make a purchase. Just arrest her and give her a huge fine. Stop trying to accommodate her. You need to inconvenience this chick back instead of letting her control the situation.
I just want to leave so that way I can go and finish what I had to do today. They're working on it. And they're taking a long time, so I can't go for a walk because I have to go fill out an application and an interview. Okay. You left. Okay, we saw you leave. I hung out here for another 5 minutes. You clearly were coming back. I told them you left. I never said I wasn't coming back. I never
Oh
said
my
I
God!
was supposed to know.
Why is everyone in society jumping hoops to accommodate you? Like, it's crazy. Actual Marvel movie syndrome. Every single like 20-year-old woman without a dad thinks they're Captain Marvel, and you can't live in and you can't live in a society like this.
Oh, I can't read your mind. You can't read my mind? Okay, you don't know what I'm going to do or what I have to do. I had an appointment to go to another place that's near here that I missed an appointment.
Right, now it's the officer's fault that you missed your interview because you couldn't wait for some paperwork. I mean, your pimp said it was okay to wait. Also, she's not dressed for an interview. She started this video out in a sweatshirt and yoga pants. I doubt she's about to be interviewed or going to an appointment or whatever she changed it to. Maybe the actual story is that she was supposed to go meet a client, if you know what I mean.
I'm not trying to play games. I got an appointment somewhere else that I have to be. Okay, then do you want to come back later today for the documents? I can come back whenever I need to come back for the paperwork and whenever the paperwork is done. That's not a problem. I don't mind coming back for the paperwork. You had an issue with it earlier. No, I did not. That's why I was called here, because you had an issue with it. I'm not playing games with you. I never had an issue coming back to pick up my paperwork, but they told me that I wasn't going to be able to get it for a while.
Now you have the customer thinking, what the hell, why is there a cop here? Let me just say that if I'm a new customer and I saw this shit going down, I would probably never come to this business again, and I would tell all my friends to not go there because I would think it's ratty. For long-time customers, it might be different, but it is very likely that she's costing this dentist office business by causing a scene. They should just arrest her at this point.
Why can't I just come back after I finish what I had to finish there, and then I can finish my document, and then I can sort of pick up the documentation? And I can go and play as a puppy. I didn't think 5 minutes dispatching is no but that's how I said it was better education. Right, well, from now to find out. Okay, so you're going to trespass? Yes. Okay, so you hear this, okay? If you leave the property and come back, you'll be arrested. If you leave right now, you cannot come back, okay? Why? Okay, wait 2 minutes, and you'll have your paperwork, okay? Do you understand? If you return this property, you will be arrested. I don't mind that. I don't care about that. Okay, so I just want my documentation so I can take it to my new doctor. Okay. They can do what they need to do.
Oh
Since
my
they
God,
want me.
just wait for 2 minutes and shut up.
Okay, I have to. You have to be here and let me write down my information or whatever. Hey, ma'am, sit down. I'm not a dog. I'm not sitting down like I'm a dog. I'm not a dog. Stay right there. You're not moving anywhere. You're waiting for your documents. Unless you want to leave, you're going to be trespassed and you'll be arrested at your return. I want my certificate. Come sit down. You're not blocking the doorway. You smoking on
This is crazy.
We need back up here in case I have to go hands-on with you. Come sit down right now. For what? I'm asking for my documents. Get out of the door. You're not going to be blocking the doorway for all these other customers. I'm not blocking the doorway for anything. The door's open. Anyone can come in here. I'm not blocking anyone.
Come on, she's begging to be arrested. I understand trying to de-escalate when possible, but she's crossed the line like 10 different times. So now it's time to make her life hell so she doesn't think she can get away with this elsewhere.
You absolutely have to just do things. You know, we could do things. We have like a button, all right? And it's the fix everything easily button. You can just push the button. And no one wants to push the fucking button. No one wants to push that goddamn button. It's right there. It's right there in front of you. The fix everything easily button.
If you drink all the coffee,
Hybrids Absolute getting close to Blood Moon again.
Money talks, bullshit walks.
Where the reason she's so confident in being a pain in the ass to police.
It's because no one has ever done anything. It's because her
I
victim
don't know. I think so.
won every single altercation in her life every single time.
Is because she does this to other people and they put up with it. Now, if you're afraid of standing up to this kind of person, let me just say that most of them are really weak and they cave instantly the minute someone tells them to shut up.
All right, do you have your ID on you? No, I do not. All right, get off the phone.
Hybrids Absolute, you eating anything good?
You can't tell me I can't call my mom.
Leftover pizza from last night.
All right, she's trespassed. They're getting her documents right now. I'm waiting. She wants to be argumentative with me. I told her to sit down. She wants to call her mom and stay in the doorway. They're
Go wait outside.
All right, guys, go outside. No, I'm not. They tell me to wait 2
Hybrids
minutes.
Absolute, oh, that sounds good.
Cheap ass son of a bitch.
That's meat lovers with jalapeno.
Hybrids Absolute, is it better the second time?
Well, I warmed it up in my Dutch oven, so it is a little bit better. I mean, it is hot, but the crust is crispier, so it is a little bit better.
She's used to walking all over people, but she's not used to them.
Expected her bitchy nagginess to survive her entire life. She just expected everything to work out if she just bitches and nags because she's the main character in a Marvel movie. And unfortunately, every time reality wakes up, nothing radicalized to do, like a little dose of reality, you know? You know, when the woman that's pro-transgender shit and then goes into the bathroom and sees the toilet seat, and all of a sudden they're radical.
Hybrids Absolute, I like buffalo chicken pizza.
Oh man, there's a place near us that makes a chicken cashew pizza that's really good. It's a white pizza.
This is what we call George Floyd, ladies and gentlemen.
Body cam footage has been great for exposing how these police encounters
I love body cam footage. Shout out to black people.
actually go. Really eye-opening. You can see she is clearly resisting arrest. She's very clearly resisting being grabbed.
Turn around. You're going to get hurt if you don't comply. And I pray your own accord.
Resisting
Hey, raise your hands.
You want to get tased?
Let me your hands.
Back now.
Hey.
Then you should have...
Stop resisting. You are not listening.
I can't breathe. I've got another one, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop.
I can't breathe. I'm laughing so hard I can't breathe either. Let's go.
Stop.
Hell.
Every person being arrested since about 2014 suddenly can't breathe.
Yep,
I mean, she's breathing so loudly that you can hear it. She's like, I can't breathe.
You can scream, you can breathe.
I can't breathe. Now, in the past, I might have spoken differently, but in the modern day, I'm so sick of people who pull this shit that the more they cry and struggle while they're in the process of finding out, the more I enjoy the video.
That's right.
Knock it off. We're going to bring all
the more she is publicly humiliated and suffers because of the consequences of her own actions, the less likely she's gonna do it again. I'm just saying. And hopefully everyone can see.
Hybrids Absolute, I'll have to send you a pic of my weed plants on Discord. I don't know if I showed you yet.
Shouldn't have done it.
Good stuff now. Knock it off.
Hey, we can't grow them here.
Wait, I thought you didn't have your ID.
All right, do you have your ID on you? No, I do not. All right.
I guess she did have it.
Yep.
No, I need my ID. I need my wallet.
You're going to get everything. Calm down. You'll get everything. Calm down. This is ridiculous. Then you would have got it if you listened. Let's go.
I did listen.
Stand up and get in the
That's
car.
right.
No, I'm not getting arrested.
Yes, you are. Get in the car.
You are.
Because now you're going to arrest you for refusing to vote.
Hybrids Absolute, would you grow if you could?
Oh yeah.
Please
It's gonna get worse and worse.
Man, you're gonna get pulled in if you don't get in the conversation. You're gonna get tased in 1 second.
I need the son of a police officer. I need my backpack.
Oh. When I had my house, I had a big garden that I grew all kinds of shit in, and that's how I would grow the weed. I would grow it just
What a day, what a nuisance. It's very
in the
shocking that no one
summer
ever-
like I do with the rest of my garden.
It's honestly insane that like we need to live in a society where this is considered acceptable by like half the population, and then they say defund the police.
I'd
Or
never have to
impossible,
buy
no,
it
but
again.
For the most part, the police have her under control. And now that the witch is contained, let's see how the dentist is doing.
I think she probably has something in her bag she doesn't want you guys to know. Is she like around the corner somewhere?
A little snitch. I think there's something in her backpack that she hid from you. Good move. Get her in as much trouble as possible. Because I think what this lady is suggesting is that the real reason that the suspect actually wanted to take a walk is so that she could ditch some drugs or do them. Honestly, it's hard not to think that this girl is a regular user of hard drugs based on her completely unhinged behavior over some paperwork.
I told you.
Covered in piercings, covered in tattoos, talking to her daddy on the phone, walking around, you know, completely angsty, doesn't want to give her address to the dentist.
That's right. I not two men.
I told you we're gonna be back.
2 men on a young lady? It's just crazy.
2 a.m.
Alright, so this is her stuff.
Hang on, I got-
Yep, bitch deserved it, shouldn't have done it.
Oh, yeah, thanks. This is her paperwork. I never want to see the lady again. I don't know what I need to do for that trespassing or whatever, but she already knows she's trespassed. She probably knows so. Okay. Well, thank you. I apologize. No, it's okay. I've never in my life seen something that ridiculous, but I guess that's normal for you guys.
Yeah, you should start voting for people that actually want to put these people in little camps. You know what I'm saying?
Angry 1010 hello.
You want to just round people
Hey.
up and put them in a box? Yeah. Notice how society will get better really quickly.
Yeah, I only saw something as crazy one other time, and it was me fighting another girl with that.
It's always girls.
That's an interesting perception.
Wow,
But now we finally have the paperwork.
interesting.
Mission accomplished. Though this all could have maybe just been an email. You know, keep it simple.
Angry
Next, the
1010
police
what's
have
your
to look
real
through her
name?
bag, and it looks like she has some makeup brushes that she's
Patrick.
not going to have to throw away because they put them on the floor. Great move, Pop. We have some 5 gum and something that looks like a burner phone. So she's not beating the drug addict prostitute allegation.
Angry 1010 which game are you playing?
This is 7 Days to Die.
She still acted like this. Like some people just need to be put in a box. You know what I'm saying?
Going back to jail? Now, again, you might think it's heartless for me to make fun of her frantically crying or possibly having a panic attack.
Publicly humiliating these people is the solution.
Mom, my mom's right there. My mom's right there. Mom, my mom's right there. She's in that deep here. My mom's in the deep right there, please.
Holy shit. Literally.
Angry 1010 how is the game?
It's an awesome game. I've played it for probably going on 10 years. I've been playing it since since beta.
Customers away. Not to mention, they gave her like 20 different warnings to try and prevent her from being arrested.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it should have been like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
We need to be less tolerant of these people.
Yes.
My empathy goes out the window.
Dude, I'm so tired of this garbage. Bro, tolerance is not a virtue. You have been mind raped by your time. Tolerance is a virtue. Literally.
Angry 1010 oh nice.
Is not a virtue. Intolerance is a virtue. Being intolerant to evil
this is where I came
being
from.
virtuous. Being tolerant to the infinite hoes and rapists, that's not virtuous. I don't understand where the ideology came from that it's virtuous to be tolerant. Like, they pick words that they just completely utilize to their advantage. And honestly, I don't even think these words mean what they say they mean. You know, they call it Pride Month. Dog, Pride's a sin. Hello? Like, they'll pick these words. It's like, it's actually satanic. They'll take a word and they will mutilate it. They will take a word that's evil and then they will try their absolute best to contort it into something good. It's honestly insane.
For those who cause their own problems like this. Like I said, I actually enjoy watching people like this suffer. You have to be in that mindset or you'll get...
Angry 1010 I can't follow you.
Now, if this were someone who was innocent...
Why can't you follow me? I don't know why.
I like the finding out stage of fucking finding out ideology.
Video like this would genuinely be traumatizing.
It's not her suffering that I enjoy in a vacuum. Unless you consider the consequences of her actions, and all of a sudden I fucking love it.
For example, watching Arena Zarutska get stabbed caused me mental health issues for weeks. But when it's someone finding out after some shit they started, I don't lose sleep at all. Weird how that works.
That's right. Bro, you cannot cave.
Jeez, I gotta show the free ring clip again.
Demons use words.
This is my favorite clip in all of anime.
Trick demons. You can't trust the thing they say.
Trust anything they say.
They're monsters. They don't just speak. Monsters who found they could lure in humans by crying, "Help me."
I'm tired of these people playing victims so they can feel sorry for them as a way of getting out of trauma that they caused. I have seen so many bad people play this game, and I instantly start hating the person.
Angry 1010 bye, see you later.
Later. Probably gonna be logging out soon anyway. I just wanted to see if I could get up to the roof of this place.
And good luck. I wish you
Oh, so she's literally a demon. Or she's one of those women who think she's like a witch or something who can cast spells. A lot of prostitutes are into that witch.
Did you know that the #1 growing religion in the United States of America among young women is women converting to witchcraft? That's a real thing, by the way.
Angry 1010, where are you from?
I'm originally from Chicago, but right now I live in central Pennsylvania.
Alright, come on. Let's do it. Prove it. Prove you're not racist. Right, that's one. That's one. That's one. One more. One more. Oh my God, you guys are going viral. They're gonna say you're so good. Look at, what are your names? Say your names. Say it. This is good.
They're like, yeah, we're not giving you our names, go away. For context, this took place in New York. I love the lack of social awareness here, where the guy doesn't get that.
New York! New York is so good.
The only reason that they move is because they don't want to get assaulted. Now, you might think that these surrounding people would help them if they were to get attacked, but not in New York. If they try to help, they'll get arrested, while the criminal will just walk free.
Probably.
Why would anyone want to live in NYC?
True.
Speaking of the miscreants of society, let's check back in with our little spellcaster. She's really been creating a ruckus in that cop car by kicking the door a bunch of times, so reminding everyone that she said she didn't want to be treated like a dog. The police have decided to transfer her into the human equivalent of a kennel van.
Holy crap. Holy crap.
Angry 101000 in streaming in how can you earn?
No more fighting, alright? Or you're gonna have more charges and you're gonna stay in jail longer. Let's go. No more fighting. Let's go.
I don't understand what you just said.
The faster you get there, the faster you'll get out. As soon as you get up. We're gonna put him in the front.
I love how 1 second ago, you will burn. You will rue the day. You will rue the day that you will put me in prison.
Stand up. We're gonna take those off and put them in the front, alright?
Oh, they're putting her in the kennel van!
So it looks like she damaged that door. I hope they charge her for that instead of having my tax dollars go to replacing
Angry 1010 how to earn in key CK.
I don't earn money in Kick. Actually, I don't earn it. I barely earn money in Twitch. I'm only an associate in Twitch. I think that's what they call it. Affiliate? Affiliate, that's what it is. An associate is in the mob.
There's no way that's your tattoo.
I'm only an affiliate on Twitch, so I don't earn that much. I don't earn any money on Kick.
I got so scared for a second.
I really don't have much of a following on Kick.
If I can get my okay. Come on, get up in there, alright? Come on. Sit right in the corner. All the way over.
Alright, scoot in.
Alright, well, I'm logging out. I will be back on later.
You can see the cops were laughing at her.
My schedule is on my channel, so
So that's pretty much it.
I will see you guys later.
Not long enough, in my opinion. Give her like